welcome executive producer,
Okay.
World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, finally. Here we go. Actual WoW content. Let's go.
Wow. What's up, Blizzcon? Oh, I'm so excited to see you all here. This is fantastic. Well, can you believe we've been playing World of Warcraft for almost 20 years?
No.
You know, 2004 was a while ago, right? You know, some of us, we waited in those lines for those midnight releases and got our discs. Yeah!
I don't know. It looks
And
like
we
a
raced
jacket
home
that
to install those WoW discs
one of those
one by one.
oh my god, I just lost the word for it. NASCAR. That looks like a jacket a NASCAR racer would wear, bro. I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to be a cosplay or what.
Part in the stories of Jaina, Sylvanas, Arthas, and Thrall, and of course, so many others. And together, we've jumped through the portal into Outland. We sailed off into Northrend, and we watched Sargeras stab the world with that sword.
What sword?
During that time, gaming has changed, and you have changed, and so have we, particularly in the past year. The entire team across both Modern and Classic have embraced their communities. We are truly listening to your voices and taking action. My friends at Blizzcon, now is the perfect time to prepare to close chapters, open new ones, and double down on why we all fell in love with World of Warcraft in the first place.
Okay.
With that in mind, let's get to it. As many of you know, WoW Classic was born out of
Bread.
the community's passion.
Why are you titty bread? Happy? Why are you
And
what?
of course, most of you know that still drives us today. Like just in August, inspired by our community, we released Classic Hardcore.
Here we go. Love hardcore.
So, in Hardcore, you only get one life. And if you die, you may laugh, you may cry, you may have to replace a keyboard, but you go again.
Go again.
We've loved watching you take on the challenge or die trying. And because the hardcore community has asked, the team is planning to add a new way to play hardcore early next year.
What? Hold on.
And last month in Wrath Classic, we released the Fall of the Lich King patch. And while there's still more to come in Wrath, earlier this year, we looked at your feedback to think about where are we gonna go next. We read through a lot, and I mean a lot of your feedback on social media forums, and we sent out surveys to our players. And here at BlizzCon, we're happy to announce Cataclysm is coming.
Yo. Oh
And
my god, it's time to go stand in the
it's coming
fire.
with hashtag changes based on your feedback, just like you'd expect from Classic. So now, let's jump into the Wayback Machine and get a reminder of all things Cataclysm.
I don't know, I liked Kata brand.
that its true lords may return. You dare trespass into my domain? Die! This is my realm.
Yo, whoever they keep hiring to do these animations, they just hit the nail on the head every time. The new animations are so dope. I know it's not the Blizzard team, they're outsourcing it. I just can't remember who they're
Get ready,
outsourcing
my
it to.
friends, because I love the passion, by the way. Get ready, my friends, because the road to Deathwing's destruction is coming in the first half of next year. All right. Now, over the past 4 years of Classic, we've watched you master the vanilla experience, and we've loved it. So much, in fact, that we thought we'd add some unique flavor with a seasonal note and a dash of discovery. Season of Discovery is vanilla WoW with a spicy twist. You're going to discover new secrets as you scour the world and find class-altering abilities.
What?
Have you ever wondered what it might be like to be a tanking warlock?
Oh my god.
Or take on the role of a mage healer? In Season of Discovery, you can. The season is going to launch with an initial level cap of 25. And when you hit that max level, you'll be met with the brand new level 25 endgame. You'll discover a brand new 10-player Black Fathom Deeps raid with new and reimagined bosses, mechanics, and of course, rewards. Then, after a couple of months, we'll raise the level cap a bit. You'll find even more endgame content, and so it will go. If you're here at BlizzCon, you can play the Black Fathom Deeps raid in the Warcraft Hall.
No, I think this is good, Grand. I think this is a good way for them to test.
Go check it out.
Like, this is a good way for them to test something and make it a single season as opposed to doing a whole release. That way, if there are hiccups or issues, they can iron it out now.
To discover all of the secrets together, there will be no public testing. WoW Classic Season of Discovery launches in a few short weeks on November 30th.
Damn.
For more information on the Season of Discovery and Cataclysm, don't miss the Classic panel this afternoon. All right, now it's time to talk to my Dragon Riders in Modern WoW.
Hold up, you go back. You never talked about what was getting added to Hardcore. Hold on.
Giving you meaningful game updates about every 8 weeks with more content sprinkled in between. We really want Azeroth to feel alive and the home you want to come back to no matter how you play.
Okay.
Our next major update, Guardians of the Dream, is going live in just 5 days. I want to give a shout out to my elves. It is finally our time.
Hey, yo, let's go.
1 week later, Season 3 will start with the last raid of the expansion, Amir Drasil, the Dream's Hope.
So season 3 is
There we will have our
confirmed.
final showdown
Last
with
patch.
Karak and defend our new world tree. But fear not, that's not the end of our time in the Dragon Isles. There's a lot more to come in Dragonflight that will serve as both the epilogue of this story and the bridge to our next one. Like I said earlier, we are evolving. We are changing our approach to this big, beautiful game and how we look ahead to new chapters. Blizzcon, it's time for a new adventure.
World of Warcraft
One
2?
that has grown from the very seeds of what captured our hearts when we first set foot in Azeroth.
Hmm?
For veteran players, the last 20 years have led us to this. And for those who have yet to join us, now is the time. And who better to talk about the first step in this journey?
Hey.
Than someone who carved the path in the first place. Everyone, please welcome my friend and the executive creative director of the Warcraft universe, Chris Metzen.
Let's go. Welcome back. What have you got for me, Chris?
What up, Blizzcon?
Love the
Holy
energy
smokes.
right now. Holy
Lord,
shit.
where you at?
Yeah, man.
Alliance! Blizzcon as one! Holy smokes, thank you. Thank you. It is,
That's Blitzen, Happy. That's Blitzen.
thank you guys. It has been a long, strange trip to get back to this spot. I tell you that. It has been interesting
WoW
this
2,
past year
Grand?
being
WoW
back
2?
under the hood of World of Warcraft. It has reminded me of a few things. One, I love Warcraft. Number two, you know what? I really missed this work. And number three, on the real, it feels amazing to be back and part of this Blizzard family again. As Holly said a bit ago, next year is the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft. I can't even believe it. Whatever. How many of y'all have been playing from the beginning?
I have. I could barely reach the keyboard, but my dad had me on this computer. Let's
Love
go.
you, Prison. So given that, what was that? Doesn't matter. We started thinking, so what next, right? What expansion hook, what single storyline could possibly match such a historic occasion? We started thinking about, well, I did, the good old days, right? And some of those early mythic ideas that kind of established the background of Warcraft. Started thinking about even some of the newer ideas that have played out more recently, but still in a way feel a little unresolved. And in the mix of all that stuff, in the mix of all those ideas, particular things like, what the hell has Magni actually been babbling about all these years?
The wounds
Was
champion.
the thing that he came to warn us about in Battle for Azeroth, did it actually play out? Or is there potentially something darker still looming on the horizon? I don't know.
I don't know.
Will there eventually be an apocalyptic confrontation between the forces of the light and the void. Talk to me, BlizzCon. I'll tell you what, for nothing, my pally Maine, I'm all in on that kind of thing if it happens. It's gonna happen. And really the big question for all the marbles, what have the Titans actually been doing since the dawn of civilization? What is the real purpose of all of their cute little installations slammed into the side of the planet? Do we know everything we need to know
I just realized
about their real intentions for our world? Just saying. BlizzCon. All of these hooks and 100 more. 68, carry the 2. A bunch more. All cooking in the pot. Started to reveal a storyline. Something epic. How epic? Real epic. A storyline that in almost every way feels like the culmination of the first 20 years of our storytelling. A storyline provided we do our jobs, we do the thing that will vector us into the next 20 years of adventure. BlizzCon. Are you with me, BlizzCon? We call this storyline the World Soul Saga.
What?
The World Soul Saga is so epic, as we covered. It cannot be contained within any single expansion. It is built to play out over multiple expansions over the next few years.
The fuck?
Come on now. Having said that, we are working on multiple ways to deliver this adventure to you a little faster than you're used to. We're not going to get into it at this BlizzCon, forgive me. But keep your ears peeled. I assure you, we are moving with purpose. And the last thing we really want is for y'all to have your grandkids controlling your mouse and your keyboard trying to wrap this thing up. So, it's coming. Also, given the scale of this monster, we have decided to change it up today. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Instead of just debuting your next expansion all on its lonesome, we have decided to give you a glimpse at your next 3 expansion sets.
What the fuck? 3?
Does this meet with your approval, BlizzCon?
Yo.
My friends, I'm going to warn you, there may be mild spoilers ahead.
Mild, you think?
Actually, I'm just kidding. They ain't mild. Buckle up.
There we go. I added chat to the screen, by the way, because I realized that it hasn't been on the screen this whole time.
The first part of the World Soul Saga and your 10th expansion is called World of Warcraft: The War Within.
What the fuck? Also, Grand, I know I'm a couple seconds behind. Wait.
You will be ascending into the heart of Azeroth itself, exploring new subterranean kingdoms and engaging with ancient cultures.
It's Alexa.
like
I don't
the
even know who that
Earthen
is.
And the
Top of my head.
terrifying Nerubians of Arshkahet.
Ooh. Are we getting
The
trailers?
forces of darkness close in around our precious world soul. You, yeah, that's you, will be called to do what you always do, which is dispense indiscriminate justice upon all those who got it coming. Talk to me, Blizzcon. The second part of the World Soul Saga is called World of Warcraft Midnight. In this chapter, you will be returning, ready, to the old world,
Oh.
to the fabled lands of Quel'Thalas. There, the forces of the Void have invaded Azeroth, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness and fear. You will not only help reunify the scattered elven tribes of Azeroth, but you will make your stand with the forces of the light and banish the shadow forever.
Yo.
Of course, BlizzCon, it is Azeroth. Things may not go to plan. Things may just spiral wildly out of control, leading us to the third part of the World Soul Saga. World of Warcraft, the Last Titan.
Ooh. Okay.
In this chapter, you will again be returning to the old world, this time to the wintry lands of Northrend.
All right.
And there, at Ulduar, you will bear witness to the return of the Titans to Azeroth. And there, you will uncover a vast conspiracy, one that stretches throughout the history of the world, one that will challenge everything you think you know about the Titans, their intentions, and the true nature of Azeroth itself. In time, my friend, in time. And it's called Silithus. There you go. BlizzCon, my hope, our dear hope, is that you can see when it comes to WoW storytelling, we ain't screwing around.
Let's go.
We are playing for all the marbles. We are working to establish a thundering heartbeat for this franchise. Now. Now, BlizzCon. Hearken to me. Always wanted to say that. Thank you. Whether you are a current player, and I'm going to bet that most of you are, or maybe you jumped off the WoW train a few expansions ago, now is the time to come home. Now is the time to pull on your boots, pick up your broadsword or your favorite glowy staff, and get in this fight. Friends, Azeroth needs her defenders now more than ever. Now, in a few moments, we are going to give you a deeper look at the war within. But before we do that, I want to leave you with a little something to chew on. I want to remind you all that sometimes very epic things can begin with small, heartfelt moments. What you're about to see is one of those moments. And with that, BlizzCon, proud defenders of Azeroth,
I love this dude's energy.
let the World Soul Saga begin.
Let's fucking go. Yo, there's no fucking way this is 3D animation, right? Yo. What the fuck?
You're here to tell me we don't get to hide. Is that it?
You
Oh
needed
my
time.
god.
We stayed away. But time by itself heals nothing.
Green Jesus
Come here
returns.
for me. It's the visions. You've seen them.
I suspect many have lately. Something, someone is calling out from the heart of the world. Like a voice from a dream. Something dark is coming, Anduin. The world needs your light again. My son.
I'm not that person anymore! I have no light. Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
Yeah, that's Thrall.
You are not your past, Anduin. I trust you.
Hear me.
They're getting worse. Look, whatever's coming, I'll stand with you. Of course I will. But we were drawn here by the voice. Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed
at someone.
Finally. It's about damn time they addressed the sword. Alright. Oh my god. Why the hell they might have to make Anduin so hot? What the
Guess
fuck?
we're
What
not
happened?
ignoring that sword anymore.
What was that level of animation?
I
I
do
thought
have
that
to
was
say,
real.
though, every time I see that cinematic, and I've seen it many times, it gets me right in my heart. It feels like a new beginning, and it feels like coming home. And we are so excited about where we are going.
Right?
And now that you've seen or heard the overview for the
Oh,
World's
man.
End Saga, let's talk about the war within. As we all gather and explore beneath the surface, we'll find an ancient Nerubian civilization. They will be led by someone we were first
I don't know if
introduced
the
to
tusks
in
throw me off
Legion,
just a little bit. You gotta be careful about the
Zalatath,
teeth.
a
You know what I mean?
harbinger of
You
the
gotta...
void. The void brings destruction and darkness that threatens all light in our world. The last time we saw Zalatath, she promised we would meet again. And it turns out she was right. And while Anduin, Thrall, and
Zalatath?
others share the same visions emanating from the heart of the world, some are seeing something quite different.
Oh, here we go again.
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow taunting me from below.
Yo, are we gonna do old gods again? Okay. What the fuck? Warband. Hero. What? Earth. Oh my god, new dragon riding system, but for everything? Hell yeah.
The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle lies deep within.
Yo. Okay. Can it be the new expansion yet? I'm done with Dragonland. Let's just say that a boulder fell on Farok and let's move on. Let's have some fun.
Challenging dungeons and raids and some new features too that are built to last. If you like exploring on your own with a couple of friends or family, we have delves. These are a variety of bite-sized experiences for 1 to 5 players that will offer endgame rewards.
Okay.
You may also find in your delve a familiar character who'd be willing to fight alongside you. And if you're like me and you have an obsession with alts, we have warbands. With this feature, you could treat all of your characters like family and share banks, reputations, transmogs.
Whoa! Oh my god.
We're also introducing a new layer of customization for your class specs with hero talents. You might want to take your character down the path of a Dark Ranger, let's say, or a Farseer.
No
and
way.
more.
No way. Oh my god.
Also, during your travels underground, you will meet the Earthen Dwarves, and you'll be able to unlock them as our new allied race.
Are they neutral? Why is there only one?
I mean, who doesn't love a dwarf? The facial hair
Facts.
options are spectacular.
Facts.
There's so much more to talk about, so please join the What Next panel that's coming up right after the opening ceremony right here. What I can tell you, though, is that the call to get into the fight to save our world will ring out when The War Within releases next year.
Sorry, I was
And
drinking.
lastly,
Next
I
year?
sincerely want to say
It's already
we
almost
are
next
so
year.
excited to begin this new journey with you. And from our hearts to yours, thank you for bringing our world to life. And now, with his own note of thanks, Mike Ibarra.
Thank you to all the teams who presented today. There really is so much to look forward over the next 2 days. And this is only the beginning. I can't wait to walk the halls of all of Anaheim with all of you. It is truly a joy to be here with the Blizzard team and our players. Blizzcon, be great to each other and enjoy the show.
Hey, BlizzCon fans, we are about to begin.
Oh,
Please
here we
take
go.
your seats. Thank
Silver.
you. Welcome back to BlizzCon 2023. Over the next 2 days, there will be a series of
panels
8 panels
launching.
and presentations showcasing a variety of exciting new games and updates, led by some of
me
Blizzard's
her real
amazing
quick.
creators, artists, and designers. So, to kick it all off, here's our first presentation, World of Warcraft, What's Next?
Four years have passed since the mortal races gathered together in Anaheim, California. And now, the drums of BlizzCon thunder once again. Let me hear the thunder! Yes! Ah! Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here with us today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Warcraft What's Next panel. My name is Taryn Gregory, and as you may have heard, thank you. As you may have heard from Chris during the opening ceremonies, we are at the dawn of a new era of Warcraft. The World Soul Saga. A story that will play out over the next 3 expansions and will take us on an adventure in World of Warcraft like we've never experienced before. This saga kicks off with the War Within. In this first chapter, our heroes will be called on an expedition to the subterranean depths of Azeroth, revealing a new world full of mystery, wonder, and darkness. There we will confront the shadows below and face new challenges on the battlefield as well as in ourselves. So what is next? During this section, I'll share an overview of the story of the War Within, and then next you'll hear from Maria Hamilton, who will speak to zones and cultures, and then wrapping up with Morgan Day, who will talk about dungeons, the raid, and our new systems. Let's dig in. In our cinematic reveal, did you guys enjoy the cinematic?
Bro, the animation quality on that cinematic is fucking insane.
Big shout out to the cinematic team for their work on that. It's just incredible work. We witnessed
Say something?
as Thrall,
I said the
found
animation
Anduin
quality
Wrynn,
on
who
that
has been wandering
cinematic was
alone for the last
absolutely
few
insane,
years,
bro.
grappling, lost in his own thoughts, and dealing with the experience that he's been through, as many of you may have remembered.
One more time.
Throughout this and our features trailer, we learned 2
I
very
said the
important
animation
elements,
quality on the
starting with
cinematic was insane.
visions. Thrall spoke of.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust your volume. So is it as loud versus the video itself? Let me see something. Say something.
Our heroes to investigate its origins, and while at the
The
same time,
animation quality
darkness
on the
has been
cinematic
gathering.
was
Even as the
insane.
heroes adventured on the Dragon Isles, and in the war within, the mysterious.
I think I got it right now. Say it one more time.
Oh my god.
Xalatath has returned. Freed long
Xalatath
ago
was
from the
such a
black
cool
blade that once
character.
bound her, she is now the harbinger of a new era of the Void's dark machinations. And her message is clear. The Black Empire has fallen. The old gods are dead. And their ancient blood runs deep within the cracks of the world. We, the heroes of Azeroth,
People were saying Xalatath is new waifu. I don't know why.
The forces of the Horde
New.
and the Alliance have proven time and again they are among the most powerful armies
People
that
need to
ever
step their
stood.
game up, bruh.
Watch this.
Did you not see those curves on that dagger?
Black
Hell
Empire
yeah,
prevails.
man.
Xalatath now seeks to set in motion
Talk
the
about
rise
wanting a
of
woman
new
with some
dark
edge.
one that knows our true strength and will seek to test it against a new threat of terrible power, the Nerubians of Ashkahet. Xalatath has conscripted the Nerubian queen Anserek, having offered her people a new future, one in which they will rise from their isolation as a mighty kingdom once again. And here in this sprawling city of Ashkahet, we will not find the undead soldiers of the Lich King that we faced before, but instead a new, mighty stronghold of the Nerubians as they once were, deadly survivors of the mythic wars that have played out time and again over thousands of years. In return for their loyalty, Xalatath has granted the Nerubians the means of a dark evolution, one that will turn the Nerubians into a new kind of ferocious and terrifying soldier that we will clash against time and again in the war within.
Hell yeah.
Now let's talk about who we'll be adventuring with. How do you like the key art? Several of Azeroth's greatest heroes will rise to the call of the Radiant Song, and many will be faced with their own unique challenges. Anduin, having survived his ordeal with domination. Yes, look at the art.
I'm already seeing tweets that are like, fucking shave him and shit like that. I like the new look.
With his relationship to the holy light that he no longer feels worthy of, while Thrall is seeking a connection to these visions, spreading across the world and working to find his new place in the Horde. While Magni Bronzebeard, long the speaker of Azeroth, will confront the heavy weight of that responsibility once and for all. Champion! The wounds champion! Yes! But that brings us to, I know you saw this in the features trailer, Alaria Windrunner. Alaria's journey will be central to the events of the themes of the War Within, as she, a Void Hunter, will use all of her prowess to hunt down the Harbinger while being torn between her own nature and the maddening call of the Void to which she is attuned. Along the adventure, she will have a unique rivalry with Xalatath, whose twists and turns will come to define the nature of this new conflict. Of course, we'll see many more familiar faces on our journey and meet a host of new and interesting characters along the way that Maria is going to tell you more about in just a
Alaria
moment.
looks really good in that artwork,
But
not gonna lie.
this
Yeah, bro.
saga is only just beginning.
The in-game cinematic looked good too.
Yes! Conceived to be an epic worthy of the first 20 years of World of Warcraft, the World Soul Saga aims to redefine the storytelling in our expansion set and strike boldly at the core themes that define Warcraft. The might of heroes, the responsibility of that power, the pursuit of justice. Got to do my best Mets in there. Justice! And the importance of finding common ground as well as ourselves amidst adversity. Up next, may I introduce Maria Hamilton, who will be sharing more about our
Scuggy, why?
We're within. Thank you so much.
Scuggy redeemed for me to take my glasses off for 5 minutes. Scuggy.
Hello, Blizzcon. Wow, I am so excited to be here and delighted to represent our team and tell you about the places that we will explore and the cultures we will encounter in the war within. I can't really see all of you out there. I know there's a lot of you, though, because I can hear you. And I hope to hear lots of oohs and ahs when you see some of this cool art I've got to show you.
Oh, you did the glasses when they're gonna do art. Oh, come on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Okay. As Taryn mentioned earlier, we'll be called
This was
by
leaked.
the Radiant song, dreamlike visions that come
Oh,
from
for
the
real?
heart of the Azeroth.
Yeah,
Some of them
Khaz'Algar.
will lead us to the subcontinent of Khaz'Algar, a place long forgotten. It's only
Yeah,
through
this
recent
area was
explorations
leaked,
in
but
Uldaman
they
that we
didn't know if
discovered
this
a
was gonna
Watcher
be a new
report
region or
concerning
continent or
a
whatever.
contingent of Earthen that was sent to this place long ago to investigate a fissure in the sector. What exactly that means, we don't really know, but we can probably speculate. So first, let's talk about the Earthen. Ooh, there you go. There you go.
How cool do they look?
All right,
Scale of
we
1 to
have
10.
met
Let me know.
Titan-forged Earthen before, of course, in Ulduar and other places. But this society of Earthen has been isolated within Khaz'Algar for a really long time and have developed their own manners and customs. Now, visually, these Earthen are a bit larger in stature, and they're noticeably blinged out. They've got gems all over them, bedazzled, blinged out, you know, that kind of thing, right? But philosophically, they are guided by the Edicts of the Titans, a set of codified orders, duties, and expectations that provide instructions for the core functions of their society. You know, Titans, order, all that, right? But the Titans have been absent for eons, and the Earthen are no longer united in their adherence to these edicts. They now exist as three groups that are estranged from each other. The Oathsworn, as their name suggests, still uphold the edicts faithfully and believe everyone else is doing it wrong. Their charge is guarding the Core Way, a Titan passageway that leads right to the core of Azeroth. They're primarily the city dwellers. They live conveniently near the object of their responsibility.
That sounds
Core Way.
important.
Now, the Unbound, in contrast, have abandoned the edicts, and they are considered scandalously rebellious by the Oathsworn. Their original responsibility was providing the materials to keep the Titan installations supplied, and they're primarily rural. They're living in and around the quarries and the mines where natural resources can be acquired. They rarely interact with the city dwellers. They feel neglected and ignored because they have a different opinion on how they should live. Now, the machine speakers have strayed from the edicts in practice, but not with respect to their overall obligation to keep the Titan works functioning. They've had extremely limited contact with the surface dwellers, and they express no little disdain for those who just don't understand the great machines. Their homes are built around vast industrial projects under the surface that allow them to perform their functions in accordance with edicts, more or less. These different perspectives among the Earthen and their variable adherence to the Titan's edicts has weakened the society as originally structured. And that's not good, of course, but a much more serious problem is their steadily dwindling numbers. For reasons that I'm not going to get into here and now, New Earthen can't exist until we help them out by doing some things and unite the Earthen society once more. Happily, as a result of our actions, the Earthen will eventually be unlocked as an allied race. Yeah, like sweet, don't they? Yeah. These player Earthen will replenish the culture's dwindling numbers and may join either the Horde or the Alliance.
What?
Yeah.
Or dwarves?
It is, of course, players' choice
That's what I heard.
which side you wish to ally with. But as you
Wow.
can see from a small sampling of combinations, there's some fantastic variations and customizations coming for the Earthen models, including different gem incrustations, beards for all body types, rocky skin patterns, tones, and more. Now that golden mohawk with the braids and the fringe beard, that's quite the look. But I really like the beardless guy with the bushy blonde eyebrows.
The
He looks so
female
cool. It's
model
just
with the
kinda
beard
like,
is kind of crazy
what do you
looking.
do? So anyway, all right, moving
You see
on.
it?
Another cool culture that players will encounter in the war
I like the
within
mohawk,
is the
though.
Arathi. Yeah. Yeah, and you probably have questions, right? So these are
We're going back
descendants of
to
the original
Arathi again?
Arathorian Empire, and they've arrived relatively recently and through some somewhat mysterious circumstances. And they find themselves trapped here within Khazalgar. Mysterious mostly because I can't say anything more about it just yet because of spoilers, but it's not like spooky mysterious, it's the other kind. As a people, the Arathi are worshippers and wielders of holy fire. They are dedicated to bringing hope and light
Paladins
to the
coming back.
darkness. They're tough, resilient people, with every member of the society being an able combatant.
Gear
Some
set on the
few are
left
further
definitely looks
blessed
like
with
Paladin gear.
paladin-like abilities through their devotion to the light.
We're gonna have a
Even
raid
their
based around the
airships are
Arathi.
powered by sacred flame.
Looks
The
like
extent to which they're
Paladin,
comfortable in
Warrior,
battle is
Rogue, and Priest
probably
gear
a
in
good
order.
thing, because they have established a home away from home
Left to
in
right.
an enormous cavern bordered by an endless underground sea, from which terrifying creatures emerge to rampage and create havoc. Not my idea of a cool place to hang out, but they're really, really tough. These watery monstrosities, though, are nothing compared to the threat from below. A constant swarm of Nerubians has been held back so far from invading the Arathi lands. The assault is unrelenting, the threat is dire, and the Arathi can't hold much longer. These bastions of light against the darkness are far from home and limited in number. Sure would be terrible if there was also division within the Arathi ranks. Just saying. That would be pretty rough, what with them being so outnumbered. We could probably help them. All right, speaking of the Nerubians in the War Within, we'll explore their last kingdom deep within Khazalgar. These ancient survivors of the Black Empire who rejected their former masters have developed their own culture here in the deep darkness.
Bro, they would be really
As
cool as
Terry
an allied
mentioned
race.
earlier, Zalatath has made a bargain
Right?
with
Yeah,
the
they look
Nerubian
fucking
queen
sick.
Ansarek, who seeks a new future and renewed glory for her people. The Nerubians are extremely capable and devious adversaries who have been honing their skills with their constant assault on the Arathi. But domination hasn't come fast enough for the Queen's taste, as the Arathi has managed to hold against this onslaught. So this deal with the Harbinger has included some assistance for her troops. Through some dark alchemical process, Zalatath has provided the knowledge required to evolve chosen Nerubians into paragons of their race, enhancing their viciousness. And Queen Ansarek has embraced these modifications with enthusiasm and eagerly offered her army to achieve the Harbinger's schemes. It appears to be a win-win situation. But not all Nerubians share their sovereign's enthusiasm for change and her embrace of Zalatath. Shadowy figures with far too many limbs maneuver against the Harbinger's plans in opposition to the Queen's desire. As you might expect, any foray into this Nerubian kingdom introduces us to a variety of citizens, including some forms we've never encountered before. Here's a layout of some of the Nerubian models that are completed and also some that are in progress, as well as scale reference for goblins and humans, so you just get a sense of size.
Dude, those other Nerubians are
In
fucking
addition
tall
to
as
the
hell.
Nerubian citizens, there are also
Yeah.
domesticated insects who serve the kingdom as beasts of burden and pets. The team is hard at work building out the full range of carapaces, carapae, I don't know, whichever, skittering legs, grabby arms, piercing spiky bits, and creepy eyes for you to enjoy, I guess.
Okay, the glasses
All right,
are going
let's talk
back
about
on.
our zones. The surface of Khazalgar is our first
Ooh,
zone,
perfect timing.
called the Isle of Dorn. This is the home of the earthen surface dwellers, as well as other native species of creatures. The fertile soil, flowering plant life, and generous waterways provide nourishment for animals in this untouched paradise. An important facet of earthen society is Cinderbrew mead. This volatile substance is manufactured from molten honey, produced by enormous fiery bees. Their home groves are a remarkable sight, as the hearts of the trees themselves glow with lava-like fluid. Harvesting is always an exciting time, as the ferocious creatures are understandably protective of their hives. Now, the roosts at Storm Watch are wreathed with lightning and fierce winds. These wild elemental rooks may choose to serve a member of the Oathsworn, who, if so blessed, becomes a Storm Rider, one of the guardian warriors of the earthen people. The Unbound deal with hostile creatures from time to time, but for their most part, the existence is fairly relatively peaceful, fairly sort of peaceful. Their comfortable homes are often situated near the places where they once labored as adherents to the edicts. Those sites are now in disrepair, and in some cases, the lair of other creatures. Of course, the Isle of Dorn boasts a great walled city where the Oathsworn live and serve the edicts of the Titans. The city of Dornagal is the location of many important civic buildings, markets, traders, and crafters. And it's here that a traveler will find the expected amenities of a capital city, as well as the Titan Causeway, the defense of which is the Oathsworn's primary charge. Now, beneath the surface of the Isle of Dorn lies our second zone, the Ringing Deeps. As the name suggests, it is here that the Earthen are engaged in their work in accordance with the edicts. In these industrial areas of this cavernous space are huge, complicated machines, lava-heated foundries and forges, and waterworks, both to cool and to power huge machinery. Maintaining these Titan mechanisms and keeping everything running is both the responsibility and the passion of the machine speakers. The Earth has shifted too in places, revealing openings to the sky above to the Isle of Dorn. These cenotes bring light and water into areas once shrouded in darkness. Abundant greenery, flowers, and creatures that do not typically dwell in caverns may be found in these idyllic spots. It was really important to us as developers that we delivered the fantasy of the hard-working industry, but still had some break-up areas of natural beauty that don't feel like dark, constrained tunnels. Now, as the machine speaker population has dropped, they've had increasing difficulties with kobold incursions, and indeed the kobolds have taken over the mines, the work areas. They've even built a city of their own. Unexpectedly, the kobolds are actually becoming a force to be reckoned with under the aggressive actions of their leader, the Candle King.
Well, look at this giant-ass kobold.
Yeah, that's new.
No take candle. No take candle. With the passage of time,
The tunnel rats grew up.
both in number
Yeah, look at the big old candles underneath.
the various routines to tune and repair the processes. The old ways have been forgotten, and new creative methods must be employed if the edicts are to be obeyed. So they're kind of making it up as they go along. From the Ringing Deeps, we descend further into Khazalgar to reach Hollowfall, a vast hollow area in the earth, bordered by an endless underground sea. This tenuous foothold under the bright light of an enormous crystal has allowed the Arathi to survive.
That's insane.
Using their airships to travel to high
That
plateaus
looks
and establish
beautiful.
docks, light towers,
What the
villages,
fuck?
Dangerous.
and even a priory.
But that too. But
From the capital of Merildar,
beauty is pain, Silver, don't you know?
strive to keep hope alive and spread the light, while engaged in a near constant battle with the Nerubians at their borders. The open spaces, the bright light, and the greenery are intended to feel as though we're on the surface, somehow, rather than in this sort of strange hollow within Azeroth.
Oh, that's true too.
Crystal provides brilliant light, warmth, and growth for vegetation.
Did you hear that?
You may notice that
Yeah.
all the blooming plants have opened their blossoms toward the light and seem to be reaching in that direction whenever they're in Hollowfall. Unfortunately, the crystal sun has been changing in recent years. Where once the light was steady and reliable, it now fades without warning, plunging the Arathi into darkness, save where they have built light towers and maintain their holy flame beacons. In the absence of this light, the dangerous Kobis and other fierce creatures emerge from the sea to rampage. As the Arathi are barely holding back the Nerubians, these unpredictable episodes are incredibly demoralizing and deadly. Happily, the light has always returned to the crystal, so far. And at the deepest descent in the War Within, we reach the zone of Azj-Kahet. That almost rhymes. Anyway, the Nerubian city of Threads has been built on the ruins of itself, over and over and over again. As areas decay and crumble, a new district is built upon its ruins, and as a result, the city climbs ever higher. Those Nerubians favored by the queen, or possessing enormous wealth, or both, command the greatest views and live in the highest places over these swarming masses of the many districts. The Burrows is the home of the scavengers, the forgotten, deep in the decay and the filth. The Umbral Bazaar is a trading hub of fine silks, fascinating alchemical discoveries, and other exotic and hard-to-find goods. The Skanes are the home of the lore keepers and scholars who toil to maintain the history of their people and research myths and legends of Azeroth.
So wait, are we
There are
actually
many
gonna?
other districts and less than savory neighborhoods, both well-known and secret, that the careful adventurer could discover should they risk life and limb to do so.
So wait, are we gonna
Such
actually trade and
exploration is
interact with
fitting
these
in
people?
among
They
the
aren't just
Myrmidons,
endgame
being
mobs.
accepted, an enterprise best accomplished through
Maybe.
skill in the use of pheromones and considerable bravery. The zone of Aj-Kahet features areas of spectacular dark beauty that are inhabited by these creatures that have found a way to live among the Nerubians without being deemed a threat, found to be particularly tasty to consume, or just too much fun to torment. The mobilization of forces to assault the Arathi while also providing military might to achieve Xal'atath's schemes has stirred up all sorts of inhabitants of the darkness. And deep within the city itself, the Nerubians are gathering an odd substance, the black blood of the old gods, for some unknown purpose. But I'm sure that's fine. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about our zone flow. As I mentioned, awesome, huh?
New
We
dragon
travel from
flying?
the Isle of Dorn into the Ringing Deeps,
Yeah,
into
Dragonfly is
Hollowfall,
coming
and
to
then into
this.
Aj-Kahet. In the War Within, all of our zones are connected all together using the airlock technology that we developed for Zaralek Cavern, allowing for this seamless descent.
Dude,
from the
that's
Isle of
huge.
Dorn
Do you see
all
how
the way
big
to
that biome is?
Aj-Kahet.
Yeah.
Now, this video I just captured last week of the transition between the Ringing Deeps and Hollowfall. As you can see, we built for dynamic flight, and we were able to flow directly between the zones without the load screen. There is some seriously amazing swoopy goodness to be had moving across these zones and through these spaces. It feels so cool to burst out of a really tight area and into just a huge drop like that. It's so exhilarating. Now, this blobby map that I've got up here was an early attempt during development of our zone flow to try to figure out how we would stack these zones together and achieve the relationship between their geography and geometry that made sense and felt great to traverse. We ended up with something slightly different than this, but this is pretty representative to explain what the world builders were thinking about when they planned these spaces out. It was really important to our design that while 3 of the 4 zones are technically underground, they didn't feel that way, and that they were distinctly different from one another. We pursued that goal by introducing the natural cenotes in the Ringing Deeps and leaning into the fantasy of the classic underground foundry and industrial workspaces. So even in the zone that felt the tightest, there's places that look as though they're actually on the surface. And within Hollowfall, we created a massive hollow space in a cavern so vast it feels like an exterior, with a huge artificial sun in the form of a gigantic crystal. And in Aj-Kahet, we leaned hard into traditional Nerubian architecture with hanging nests and huge palaces built all over a decaying city that just falls away into the depths. And that is the last bit of eye candy I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this peek at what we've got in development.
Bro, I'm hyped.
So now it's time for me to introduce you to Morgan Day, who's going to give you lots of information about dungeons, raids, and systems. Enjoy. Thanks very much.
Let's go.
Bye.
This is the hype part. Yeah.
Hello, BlizzCon. My name is Morgan Day, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the upcoming content, features, and systems in The War Within. I'm sure I'll also make some funny faces that I'll regret later in thumbnails, but whatever. First up, let's talk about dungeons. There will be 8 new dungeons coming in The War Within, 4 during level up, 1 in each of the 4 zones that Maria just walked us through, as well as 4 at max level. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening in these dungeons. For instance, we have like a kobold dungeon where you'll meet that candle
Doesn't
king,
seem
where
like
there's
a
kinda
lot
light
of
mechanic that
dungeons
takes
for
place.
leveling.
You have to kind of keep it going to light your way.
Shows-
There's a dragon riding dungeon, of course.
It's pretty
but also,
similar to what we
one of my
got
favorites
in
is the
Dragonflight.
Cinderbrew Meadery,
4 dungeons for level up?
So
There
this is
was,
the dungeon that takes place on
correct
our
me if
first
I'm wrong,
zone,
but there was
the
one
Island
for
of
each
Dorne,
zone,
which is where you'll
and then
experience
one that
all of our
was like
earthen
a higher
buddies,
level.
and this is the place where they make that cinder brew mead that she was talking about.
True.
You know, they take
And
in
then
all
they
that
have
honey that they
like
gather from
the
throughout the
rotation for
zone
Mythic Plus,
to
right?
make the mead
Yeah.
to do all kinds of fun
Gotcha.
and/or nefarious things with. Although I do have to say, I feel like they're a little bit behind the times. I feel like all the kids are drinking that, hard seltzer or something these
Dude,
days.
that
but
bee
whatever.
looks bad.
They're old school. I get it.
Yeah.
Next up, our raid, the Nerubar Palace. So this is an 8-boss raid that will take place in the zone of Aj-Kahet. And this is really the culmination of all of those machinations we keep hearing about that we see play out between the Nerubian Empire, their queen, and her collaboration with Xalatath. So for this next one, we don't normally show things this early, but I thought it'd be cool to share. On the left there, you can kind of see the top-down view of the raid, and on the right, it's more of like a side cutout. So we like to work on all of our dungeons and raids when they still look like this.
I don't like
because
the
it's much
platforms.
easier to iterate,
that
while
that
we're in
bodes
the field than it
badly
is
for a
when we're
boss
playing
fight.
zone
Why are there
once we're
platforms in the
the game and it's
pits?
called lockdown.
Yeah.
So to step us through the raid really quickly, after
That's gonna be a
passing
pain in the
door,
ass.
you'll very quickly fall and/or get knocked into one of those giant pits.
Do you see
of
the
that
last
black god,
boss?
The old god that you'll hear much more
Yeah.
about in Aj-Kahet.
Why
You'll
is
take
it
the
over
lateral
like
way
a
to the
centerpiece
Kark
like that?
pits, and
I
then
don't
finally
know.
traverse your way back up through the stalactite wing, which is not a final name, I promise, until you finally fight your way into the queen's inner sanctum, where you'll come face to face with her as the end boss. So as you can see, this will kind of feel like a winged raid in terms of the vibes, but in terms of the player experience, it'll actually be quite a bit more linear than what you might be used to for a raid with some winged vibes. So something that I also think is fun to talk about really quick is with all of our dungeons and raids, we like to try to explore like what is the thing that's going to make this space feel really unique, that's going to make it stand out from all the other times that we've built these dungeons and raids. And with this space, we really thought that, given that we have the Nerubian to play with, they've got all these amazing like webs and silken threads that you can kind of traverse the zone through, we thought it'd be really fun to explore verticality as a major element to this raid. So I think that'll be really fun to see what the team comes up with for that. Next up, let's talk about systems.
He's really flying through it.
So
Here we
I want to
go.
walk you through some of our features and systems at a really high level.
What are the hero
But first, I want to
talents?
talk about some of the philosophies that are really guiding us to add these into the War Within. So first and foremost, we really want to continue to extend the philosophies of Dragonflight into the War Within. And really, when we talk about that, there's 3 main pillars that I want to touch on. First, we really want to make sure that we're focusing on evergreen features. We want to make sure that we're making World of Warcraft better forever and not focusing on things that we know we're going to have to leave behind as we move into future expansions.
Good. Stay away from borrowed power.
Next, we want to make sure that there's something for everyone. So whether you're a hardcore raider, a PvPer, a collector, or apparently like Holly, you just love to play tons of alts and run around the world exploring things, we want to make sure that there's something in War Within that you can really geek out over and that resonates with you. And finally, we want to make sure that we're continuing to build on our philosophy and build on our systems and content with people who play multiple characters in mind. We want to make sure... We want to make sure that we're building all of our systems to really respect the time of the player behind the keyboard and not focusing so much on the accomplishments of that individual character. So let's talk about Delves. Delves are a new feature that will be integrated into the outdoor world experience, where the fantasy of these is actually that you'll be joining the Dragonscale expedition in their search for lost treasures all across Khazalgar. So Delves are an evergreen feature that is really integrated into that outdoor world experience. We want Delves to be a new pillar of endgame content for those outdoor world explorers. We really view this as something like when we added World Quests back in Legion, where they are going to be really integrated and transformative into that outdoor world, especially that endgame loop. So one of the main reasons I'm stoked about Delves is that these will provide an opportunity for us to give seasonal content and rewards to those outdoor world explorers. So that means things like rewards that you're used to, like mounts, achievements, titles, but we'll also be adding a outdoor row to the Great Vault with War Within.
That's cool.
So that all of you Outdoor World explorers will be able to share in the joy of, rushing to the Great Vault every week to collect your loot.
How will this interact with World PvP?
And there will also be 13 unique delves that we'll be launching War Within with. And delves will scale from 1 to 5 players and be role agnostic. So that means if you want to play a delve solo, that's totally cool. If you want to go with you and your partner, that works as well. Or you can bring your whole dungeon group in, and the delve will scale based on your group size and your roles. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of my favorite features of delves, which I think Maria alluded to earlier, which is that there will be an NPC companion joining you on all of your adventures. So for Season 1, that'll be Bran Bronzebeard, as you can see. And Bran will be tagging along with you on all of your delve adventures, and will totally never, not even once, aggro a pack of monsters that you didn't want him to. I have my fingers crossed behind my back right now. So Bran will have a customizable talents and mechanics and abilities that you'll be able to kind of load out to suit your playstyle and needs. So, maybe you need a little bit of extra healing. Well, you can load Bran out to provide that for you. And finally, you wouldn't be exploring with the Dragonscale Expedition if at the end of every delve there wasn't this massive treasure trove that we need Bran to open for us, which hopefully brought a couple of keys to open some of the chests in there. But before Bran can open that vault for you, you'll need to maybe defeat a boss, maybe you'll solve a couple puzzles, something like that, and then Bran will be able to open that vault door for you. Next up, let's talk about warbands. It's happening! So
I'm excited for this
warbands are a
feature.
system that we're introducing that will really be the representation of all of your characters across your Battle.net account. Warbands are an opportunity for us to create a platform where you can share your achievements, resources, and all that other good stuff across all of those characters. So the goal of this system is really to be that representation of the philosophy shift that I mentioned earlier about really respecting the time of the player behind the keyboards and not those individual characters. There's actually a ton of additions and modifications. We've talked about a few here. There's no singular UI screen that says warbands. It's more of all these modifications and updates and features are kind of wearing a big coat that says warbands on the back of it. It's how I kind of keep it straight in my head. But just to talk about a couple of those cool features, we'll actually be revisiting the transmog rules of how you acquire those appearances in the War Within. So for all of you who have So that means all of you who have probably had to run 4 characters through all of those legacy instances just to make sure you're collecting all the appearances, that won't be the case anymore in War Within. You'll just be able to run it with 1 character. Holly mentioned this already, but this is obviously one that people are looking forward to. All of our reputations as well as renown in the War Within will be shared across your entire account. Last but not least, let's talk about hero talents. So here's a quick mock-up of what the UI will look like that I think really helps explain how these integrate into our current talent trees.
There we go.
But really quick, let's take a look at how this will work. So there will be 3 new hero talent trees per class, and 2 will be available per specialization that you can freely use and swap between. And also, this is another evergreen feature. This is a system that we think is going to provide a new vector of choice and customization for you and all of your classes, as well as create opportunities for us to really dig into.
Just randomly show me the Blood DK one. Just make that the one that you advertise real fast.
So Hero Talents will introduce these new, small, self-contained talent trees like you just saw in the UI. And the way I like to think about it is like
Currently, we have two types of talent points. We have class talent points and specialization talent points. And now in the War Within, there'll be a third type called hero talent points. So let's look at a quick example, which hopefully explains it a little bit more. This is a warrior, as you can see.
God damn it, warrior.
These are the 3 hero talent trees that they'll have available: Mountain Thane, Colossus, and Slayer. And as you
Wow.
can see in the top left, we have Protection, who will be able to choose between Mountain Thane and Colossus.
Okay.
On the right, you see Fury. Yep, that's right. Mountain Thane and Slayer are their options. And down at the bottom, Colossus and Slayer are their options.
Okay.
So this is how the majority of our classes will look in the War Within. The exception, of course, being Druids and Demon
We
Hunters,
saw
who
Fury with
are
Mountain
a bit
Thane, I'm
special,
assuming,
so they'll
when
look a
they
little
were
different.
showcasing the trailer.
So let's take a
Probably.
look at how you'll unlock the system, as well as how it'll feel playing through as you're leveling through the War Within. So the system will automatically unlock at level 71, and it'll just kind of appear in your UI. You'll earn 1 talent point per level as you level from 71 to 80. And there are 10 talent points in total, with several choice nodes along the way.
Oh, so we don't
I like
get
to
any
think of this as being
more
similar
base
to, like, the
talents.
Legion artifact, where as you were leveling and progressing, you were making some choices along
I've
the way.
wanted one
Ultimately,
extra
you're gonna
base
unlock the whole
talent
tree.
since Dragonflight came
And
out.
also, I want to be very clear here. These are
I would have really loved for
extremely
them to make it
low
like
friction to
85.
swap between those choice nodes, as well as
I
to
mean,
swap
and
between
design-wise,
talent
it's easier
trees.
for them to micromanage, as well as they already know how the talent tree looks, so it's easier for them to balance.
So,
Yeah.
this should be very analogous to your current talent trees and will follow all the same rules that you used to there. So, at the start of a raid boss, before a Mythic Plus starts, before an arena match kicks off, and anywhere in between. And to wrap us up, I wanted to show off a really quick video of what hero talents look like in action. So this is a warrior, as you can see,
Here you
popping
go.
avatar, jumping in. And this next one is that same warrior with the Mountain Thane talent tree. As you can see, Stormbolt hits multiple targets. There's a couple of cool movie effects, and a lot of other cool stuff going on there as well. I heard some oohs.
An AoE Stormbolt?
Or
You
effects
damn
like
right you heard some ooze.
So that about wraps us up
What?
for our What's Next panel.
Stormbolt, everybody, let's go.
Yeah, for real.
I do like me AoE
Hope you
Stormbolt.
really liked what you saw here, and if you'd like to know more, please join us tomorrow at the Deep Dive panel at noon, where Ian will walk you through some of what you saw today in more detail. Woo, Ian! As well as a bunch of other cool new stuff in the War Within. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great BlizzCon. Bye!
They had to pick warrior, of all things. They couldn't have done, like, Blood DK. It's just Fury Warrior.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh,
Here's
here we
our
go.
next presentation. World of Warcraft Classic. What's next?
Classic news. Let's go.
Hola, Blizzcon! Hi! My name is Ana Resendes, and I am one of the 2 lead software engineers on the World of Warcraft Classic team. Today, today I will be joined by 3 other of my members of the Classic team. Josh Greenfield, our senior producer. Nora Valera, my fellow lead software engineer.
And this random guy.
And Tim Jones, our team's lead designer.
Fucking Yoda, I can't fucking.
I like
It is
that
an honor
picture.
for us to represent the Classic team and talk to you about so many of the things we're working on WoW Classic. So today, let's talk about the Classic journey so far, plus Cataclysm Classic, Hardcore, and a newer season, Season of Discovery. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay!
So WoW Classic was announced at BlizzCon 6 years ago. And ever since that day, the team worked really hard to bring those precious memories of WoW to you and to me. The Classic journey officially started when you joined us in 2019 back in Azeroth creating a new character. Remembering the importance of having a good wand and being careful of how many mobs you pull at a time. We went through the journey of getting your first mount and feeling like you were riding the most powerful machine, making all those level 10s jealous of your speed.
I just want
Eventually,
my motorcycle back,
we
bro.
hit 60 levels, and we went on to face some of the most iconic challenges, including the Fire Lord himself, Lord Ragnaros. We ran the Gong of Anchorage and saw new Scar Lords walking among us. We completed our journey at level 60 by adventuring into Naxxramas with 39 other of our friends. In 2021,
I have no
the
friends.
Dark Portal opened, and us brave heroes stepped forward into a new world to face the Born in Legion. In Outland, we learned to fly and see the world from a different perspective. And after killing many Talbot, we contested Illidan, and turns out, you know, maybe we were prepared after all. Later on, we explored the coldest continent of Azeroth. We arrived to Northrend via boat of Zeppelin, and we started hearing about the presence of the Lich King. We became masters of vehicles, and if you're like me, indeed press that red button. Yeah, oops. All to prepare ourselves for the ultimate combat and defeat the Lich King on top of Icecrown Citadel. You know, as you heard earlier from our executive producer, Holly, our journey will continue into Cataclysm Classic in 2024. The Classic journey started with you as a love letter to the WoW community. We asked what you wanted, you responded to us, and we listened. And as we move onward, we look to bring new Classic experiences.
I want Classic Plus.
Cata and beyond. We're driven by
Classic
you,
Panda Land.
by you.
Hey, I do want classic Panda Land. You shut your mouth. Don't
I
you
actually do
mouth.
too, okay?
Okay, good.
I
good.
started in Panda Land, alright? I want to relive my journey of starting in Panda Land.
Bruh, I miss Mop.
So, Goblins will be joining the Horde, Worgens will be joining the Alliance.
They really should have changed it up to where Worgen should have joined the Horde.
A combination of classes and races. For
Hell
players that
no.
like to play
Fuck
as a Knight
no.
of Mage,
Whoa, you're just mad because they're furry, and you don't want to admit your love for a furry.
No. I hate Worgen.
Can I hear the stream, please?
They're human to a werewolf.
Do
That's
not,
pointless.
do not argue.
PvP fans, rated backgrounds are coming back. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Love PvP.
Ooh.
Yeah, RPGs were introduced in Cataclysm.
For some reason, I thought it was missing Pandaria.
Nope, it's Cataclysm.
Sweet.
Transmog was also introduced.
Cool.
Thousands of new quests await you.
Wait, I thought Transmog was Mop.
And of course,
No, it's Cataclysm.
Nope,
Oh,
Cata.
God. My memory is just a blur, bruh.
Nobody did play Cata back in the day.
That you have ever
Mm-hmm.
experienced.
If they don't announce item levels for a certain rating in PvP, it's going to be ridiculous.
10 new dungeons and 7 new raids.
We're past that, Frosty. We're on Classic right now.
Those raids,
And nobody cares about Classic.
Then don't listen to it or contribute
This
to
is
it.
important.
I don't watch it. I'm not even watching it.
Frosty, quiet.
A surprise appearance from Sinestra awaits.
Ooh.
Later, we will venture into Firelands, soaring through rings of fire against Alice Razor, and seeing Ragnaros take his first baby steps. They grow up so quickly. This is just some of what we know, but what are we bringing new to Classic? What's new for Cataclysm Classic? We have seen a ton of positive feedback in the community around the new Titan Rune dungeon system in Grad, or as you might know it as Heroic Plus, allowing you new deterministic opportunities to gear up. So we're excited to bring the spirit of those forwards into Cataclysm for you to experience these new takes on Cataclysm dungeons. We will be making updates to the guild advancement system introduced in Cataclysm. We want to ensure that guilds that are on the smaller side are not left behind. In past years, we heard from you about wanting to have collections UI in Classic. So we're happy to have introduced that in our final patch of Grad. And now transmogs will live in it too, and they're gonna be account-wide. So get all those alts together and get all that gear. Classic give us the opportunity to
The fact that they're immediately account-wide is huge.
Content and patches. I think we all know when a patch has overstayed its welcome. We which is why we're excited to announce that Kata Classic will be experienced at a faster rate, faster than the original. And with that, we're also making
Thank
changes
God.
to the leveling speed for new characters to get
For
to
real.
level 80.
Did you remember that last patch
These
for
are just some
Cataclysm?
of the changes that are coming to Cataclysm Classic. We also have other topics of the
Dragon Soul lasted like more than a year.
As we said, WoW Classic started as a love letter to the
It took people that long to kill the damn dragon, though.
No, like by the time I was done with Dragon Soul, everybody and their fucking mother had heroic gear, like all heroic geared out. It was crazy.
There's a mailbox where you can submit any questions you have, and for those of you at home,
Back when heroic gear was the top of the line.
there's
I'm just gonna say that dragon fucking
all the WoW
sucked.
forums in every region, and we look forward
Bro,
to your thoughts
you ain't
about all
lying.
things classic. Thank you again for taking this journey with us as we venture forward into our mysterious future. Speaking of the amazing contributions from the community, let's talk about hardcore. Yeah, hardcore.
Here we go, hardcore news, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This
I
is
have
the
a
good
question
shit.
for people here. Who here has made it to level 16 hardcore?
There you go, Silver. There you go.
Yeah, that's
Not chosen.
Nope.
very impressive.
You're damn right.
It's really, really impressive. But, okay, who here has died before level 16 hardcore?
Hey, yo. My time to shine.
Me too.
Yours and
You and I,
Frosty's.
my
Woo!
friends, that has happened. But in fact, you're not alone.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
You have joined the graveyard alongside
Oh.
all these characters, including those unfortunate
Oh
authors.
good god.
Yo.
What an update.
Stats from end of last month.
Damn.
Warriors catching up.
For our
There's
next
almost a million between Mage and Rogue alone.
I do not have a data table for this, but let's take a look at some reenactments of the 3 most common environmental deaths in hardcore.
Reenactments?
Here comes the elevator.
Including that final mob and
Oh
for those who
no.
take a look at their breath
No,
meter.
don't
The drowning.
do it. Oh no.
Bring in the
Oh
elevator.
no, come on.
Oh.
No, not the lava.
Looking for
No.
Z.
No.
Looking for Z.
No, you can't. You can't. Oh my god.
Give you a moral reminder.
Umbro said I could make it.
To die, you know, but on the opposite side, there are so much more heroic ways to die. And we have been super excited to see how players have engaged with our new feature, Duel to the Dead. Mokura.
Oh, here's a tourney.
We're very impressed by the community events and all the players that have been brave enough to participate in them. Takes a lot. But you know, as Holly mentioned earlier today, we have a new optional rule set coming to hardcore. So we are excited to officially announce that Self-Found will be coming to hardcore in early 2024.
Self-found?
Yeah.
Found myself.
That's
Into this mode won't be able to
it's
trade,
everything by yourself.
use the mail, or use the action house until you reach max level. We hope that you join us to take on this new challenge. So yeah, on behalf of the Classic team, thank you so much for joining us on the Classic journey so far. And we can't wait to see you back in Azeroth. So now, I know everybody wants to hear more about the Season of Discovery, so I'm gonna bring in, my senior producer, Josh Greenfield. Thank you.
She didn't mention trading. She just said mail and auction house.
No, she said trading.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah.
There, I made it.
I didn't hear.
That's what self-found is. Like, you can't do any of those functions.
Look at this crowd.
Okay.
Chosen, turn it up.
BlizzCon. My name's Josh Greenfield.
Tune into my stream.
Game
Discord's
producer on
broken.
WoW Classic. I'm here to talk to you today
okay,
about
hang
our
on.
new season for a Classic World of Warcraft, Season of Discovery. Today, I'm going to give you an introduction and an overview of what our season
it the Twitch
at a
stream?
very high level, as well as giving you an idea of what our major
Steady.
features are. After this overview, I'm going to hand things off to a few other Classic team members to dig into some specifics about what I'm going to cover.
It keeps bringing me here. Hang on.
So it seems fitting to start off talking about discoveries. It's in the name after all, so it seems pretty important to the season. When you first start a character in Season of Discovery, it'll look and feel identical to original World of Warcraft. You'll slay kobolds, you'll give lazy peons a bonk, all the kind of normal things you do when starting fresh in World of Warcraft. When you get to around level 2, however, in the starter zone, your class trainer will offer you a new quest. And this is to go find your first rune. We'll talk about runes in a little bit more in a minute, but after that intro quest, the game simply tells you, go find more. And that's kind of where discoveries come in. Discoveries are essentially secrets hidden throughout the game world. They usually aren't quests in the traditional sense.
I did it.
There's
Hang
nothing
on
on your
one
map
sec.
to show them to you. This is classic after all. And some may be as simple as a treasure coffer
I did
deep
it.
in a kobold mine.
I
Others
like
are
this
small events kind of unto
if this was
themselves,
hardcore.
oftentimes requiring more than one player,
Chosen.
a little bit of creativity, or
Agreed.
some keen observation skills to obtain. One of the things we love about Azeroth is the sense of awe and wonder it inspires. It's a massive world. But due to the kind of solved nature of original WoW, it can sometimes feel a lot smaller than it did when we first started our adventures. Discoveries are a way to
Agreed.
disrupt that a bit. Keep the
See,
world
if you
familiar,
had this as
overall, but
hardcore
add
for this
enough new
season of
things to
Discovery,
find
that
to
would be
evoke
kind of
that
crazy.
sense of adventure
Oh, yeah.
and exploration we first felt when we stepped foot in Azeroth. Beyond the next hill,
There'd be people
deep in
finding
the
new
next
stuff,
crypt or
you know?
cave, something
Because,
exciting
like,
could
not
be hidden.
everybody's going to be able to run around and
One
get
other thing we
everything.
love about Discovery
You wouldn't find a
is
guide about
this
anything,
social
really.
Yeah, for real.
information
Not at
sharing
least for,
aspect.
like, a
For
couple
those
months
first
in.
few weeks of each
Yep.
phase, we hope to find secret finding communities pop up, both in and out of game, as players
Wait,
scour Azeroth
what
to
did they
find all
just
these
do?
little hidden
What
things.
is this?
We can't wait to read
This is
journal
for normal
chat as
classic,
players begin
not
sharing
hardcore.
what they found with each other in real time. We think that
We're saying we
social
would
and
like
info
it to be in
sharing
hardcore,
aspect is
but it's
super
not.
exciting, and we
Yep.
can't wait to see how long it takes for all these little
Wait,
secrets to be found.
there's no more Wrath of the Lich King? They're doing
In order to
Kata now?
preserve this sense of discovery, we
No,
will
there's
not
going to be
holding
both.
a public beta or PTR for Season of Discovery.
I mean, Wrath is finished technically, but
Yeah.
they're
Wait, so
You
I'm
missed
sorry,
out.
one more time. So
We want day one
I
of
came
Season of
home late because I
Discovery
just got off
to
work and
feel
I
as
came home,
fresh
but
and full of
they're
surprises as
keeping
we can.
the
So we're
classic,
taking a
which is
chance
the
here
lit.
to keep those
God,
first
I
few
can't make
weeks as
words.
exciting as
They're
possible.
keeping the Wrath of the Lich
The last thing
King
we'll say
servers
about
alive, right?
Discoveries
And
now
adding
is that we wanted to
Kata.
craft them in a
Cataclysm.
way that
Yes.
really
So
hit
there's
home
so
in
it's going to be
original
all
WoW.
three servers.
Many
To my
times when
knowledge, yes.
playtesting
I don't think
amongst
they're getting rid
ourselves,
of
we
Wrath
find
because
a
Wrath
new
is, like,
NPC or an
a lot of the
object,
community's
and some would
favorite
hesitate and
expansion,
say,
so
like,
they're going
is
to
this
keep
from
those servers
2004?
alive.
Is this
But they are
new? And we're like,
continuing
yeah,
with the
it's new.
classic
Like,
journey where
that's
now
new
you
to
can
season. And
go
to
through
us,
Cataclysm
that's a
again
great
next year.
success. The idea here is that these things feel as
See,
like a
I'm okay with
natural
that.
part
That's fine.
of
Okay.
Azeroth as it
I will
was
shut
at
up.
this
I will
point
listen.
in WoW's history.
But this is Season of Discovery, which is
Next,
completely different.
let's talk a
Yeah,
little
this
bit
is
about
for
level banded
base
content
classic.
phases and what that means. In essence,
Hi, no screaming.
level banded content phases are how we're going to approach the level up journey in Season
But
of Discovery.
hardcore classic
When we
will be
initially
normal, right?
launch,
Yes.
the level
It's
cap
not
in
being
Season of
touched?
Discovery
Okay.
will be level
Good.
25.
Well, they're adding a new
After a
mode
number of
to it
weeks, the level cap
where
will
you
increase
can
to a higher
opt
level for
out
the next
of
phase.
ever
So,
being allowed to
now a level
interact
cap
with
of 25
trade
is fine.
windows, the mailbox,
Well,
or the
our
auction
inspiration
house,
for this actually came from
and
the
you
WoW
have to
Classic
entirely
beta in
play on your own.
2019. We saw how much fun the game was when the
Oh,
level was
like a
capped at
solo
lower
game?
level,
Yep.
and how players would find new and exciting
Hi.
talent and item combinations to optimize around. And this is something we've always looked back fondly on, and it's something
No
we've
more
wanted to
screaming.
sort of explore ever since. We also realized how approachable an initial lower level cap could be. We talk a lot internally about approachability on WoW Classic and respecting players' time. There's a major goal of this level banded approach to really give you a chance to get into it. One of the things we really consistently see on forums or social media too is it too late to start? And oftentimes we'll hear this literally within a day or two of a new release. And obviously it's never too late to start playing Classic WoW. But as we've all, grown into additional responsibilities and found ourselves spending maybe a little less time playing games than we used to, we can definitely feel that sense of kind of fear of missing out or FOMO when we log
Send
in
into
after
the
a
depths
long
of
week
Azeroth.
and see our
Okay, but
friends 10 or
what are
20
they
levels ahead
giving?
of us.
I don't.
And for that, this level banded approach is perfect.
I'll
There will
explain
be
what you
plenty
missed
of
later.
New leveling journey.
For now, just keep up with
from
what's
the
on.
quests and dungeons
Okay,
and
sounds good.
battlegrounds we all know and love, to finding all the brand new things to discover across Azeroth. And then later on, leveling new alts to find all of their hidden discoveries as well. There's lots to do, but we're hoping that you won't ever feel that sense of being behind just because you couldn't play on a given day. We also plan to give a very sizable experience boost to the previous level band every time we raise the level cap. This is kind of similar to Joyous Journeys and Wrath Classic, if you're familiar with that. So even if you miss a phase or once a level in alt, you'll be able to catch up to your friends in no time. So the next thing we want to talk about is in-game at level cap. So when we kind of decided on this level banded content approach, we had to kind of sit down and ask ourselves, what is in-game when the level cap is 25? And first, I think it makes sense to talk a little bit about our inspiration. And this is something we really keep coming back to a lot on Classic. Since this is a version of original WoW, we wanted to start out
A level
grounded
cap
in
of
familiar
25
locations
is
and put the
insane.
focus for the new stuff on fresh gameplay and
They're gonna have to
mechanics
cut back
in
on
those
EXP a
iconic
lot.
dungeons and
Yeah,
localities.
for real.
To that end, our first raid in Season of Discovery will be the iconic dungeon, Black Fathom Deeps, reimagined as a 10-player raid instance.
Really?
End player. Okay.
That's cool.
Next, one of our main goals is to ensure that these are fully featured, deep, satisfying raids, and not simply the addition of a few mechanics to existing encounters as they were in 2004. All of these encounters are a full ground-up redesign and should feel like
Is this for
proper
retail, by the way? Sorry.
No, this is for classic.
course, with new
It's
raids,
not classic
there's lots of new
hardcore, it's normal classic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a new game mode.
In addition to raids, we also really want to play up that PvP aspect. And as a result, we're planning to add several outdoor PvP events to the game as the level caps increase. Thank you. Lastly, one of the things we're most excited about is where we go when we start getting to higher levels. We are leaving the door open to the possibility of completely new experiences and the prospects of
World
exploring
PvP events and new loot.
unfinished
All you
or
had to say.
unused locales
Yeah, for real.
future raid and dungeon content. We're sorry, getting a level 60. I know, I'm excited too. I'm excited too.
Okay, so the level cap at 25 isn't permanent.
No, it's gonna be like 10 level increments, I
We
think.
think that level
Okay.
25 is going to be full of great, memorable gameplay that feels right at home in original WoW. But this is just the first step, and we think the best is yet to come. So next, let's kind
I'm
of
gonna
change
play
gears
this.
and talk about rune
This looks like
engraving
it'll be
a little
fun.
bit.
It comes out
This
at
is one of the most
this month,
exciting
actually.
things about Season of Discovery.
Yeah, when the
One of
new
the most
season gets
consistent
released, right?
pieces of feedback we've
Yeah,
gotten
November
from
30th,
previous
yep.
iterations
Oh,
of
okay.
original WoW, such as our Season
Later
of
then.
Mastery, is that many players would like to try some adjustments to their favorite class or spec. We really wanted to
While
take
you
a
guys are
chance
doing
in
that, I'm
Season
gonna
of
look at the
Discovery and go
Blizzard
kinda
bundle really
wild
quick
here, and we
for the
did.
War Within.
That's where rune engraving comes in. Rune engraving is a new skill that all Season of Discovery characters know automatically on character creation. Rune engraving allows you to gather, learn, and apply new class abilities directly to your equipment, kind of like enchants. In the initial 1 through 25 experience, you'll be able to discover runes in your chest, legs, and glove slots. And as the level cap increases, additional runes for other item slots will be discoverable over time. Once learned, runes
Okay.
are permanent and can be applied and reapplied to your gear at will, just out of combat. One of the most exciting things about these runes is that they exist completely outside of the talent system, meaning that you could very realistically splash in, damage abilities with a healing talent spec, so you could solo a little bit better, or you could swap maybe to tanking ability runes to round out the tank spot in your 5-player group if you're missing one. You may also encounter previously faction-specific paladin and shaman buffs as runes, which helps bring some parity to each faction without those classes losing their unique flavor or the factions losing their unique flavor. In order to also streamline the talent system to go along with runes, we do plan to adjust the respec cost to be much more nominal in Season of Discovery, particularly at low levels. And that's not all. That's not all.
I like that. I like
Who
that a lot.
knows? Maybe,
Yeah.
just maybe, someday, you won't be constrained to just one talent spec in Season of Discovery.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Ooh.
Still dual spec.
Yeah.
We've been playing this a ton internally. We've
All right,
been
I'm back
having
to
so
the
much
stream.
fun with it. It's everything we love about Classic, plus so much more.
Nah. I see what you did there.
At this, I'd like to hand this over to one of our lead software engineers, Nora Valletta, to talk about some specific abilities you may encounter on the different classes, as well as to talk a bit about our PvP plans for Season of Discovery. Take it away, Nora.
Take it away, Nora.
Thanks, Josh. Hey, Blizzcon. My name's Nora Valletta, and along with Anna, I'm a lead software engineer on WoW Classic.
Come here, ladies, so I can clap them cheeks.
What is that?
There are over 100
That's a lot of
levels in the
makeup
1
that
to
you put
25
on.
leveling bracket across all classes.
Squish?
We'd love for you guys to go forth and
What?
discover them
What
on
did
your
you
own.
just say?
However, to give you an idea of what to expect,
I
we
said,
have a
come
few
here,
things
lady,
to
so I
do.
can clap them cheeks.
First things first,
Who the
I
fuck are
want
you
to share some
talking
of the
to?
things we had in mind when designing runes in Season of
It's a
Discovery.
lady on the stream.
He's talking about Nora.
Our seasonal content is a great opportunity
Why?
He's
to
gone
deliver
off the
WoW
deep end.
Classic, but with a twist. With our
Apparently.
non-seasonal content, we try to deliver a classic
I'm fucking
experience
streaming here,
close to
bruh.
the original. But with seasons, we have the freedom to
He's gone off the
experiment
deep
with
Need
end
y'all to
already.
behave
scenarios such as,
sometimes.
what if rogues could tank?
I mean, he still wants to clap them cheeks.
Oh my god.
Screw you.
On that
What if
point,
Paladins had a taunt?
we wanted to introduce abilities such that each class has something special, something that other classes can point to and go, dang, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. Many of the runes you find are greatest hits remixes of popular abilities from various WoW expansions, so many of them will be familiar to you. That said, some of these familiar abilities may actually behave a little differently than you remember. Some spells and abilities you'll discover have never been introduced before in any WoW expansion. For these, we were careful to make sure they were an appropriate fit for class fantasy. Most importantly, we want Classic to continue to feel like Classic. Many of the iconic spells and abilities you've seen in various WoW expansions feel fitting for that expansion or fitting for modern WoW, but would feel out of place in Classic, so we tried to avoid introducing anything with a too modern feel and made adjustments wherever it made sense. Anyways, enough of that. Let's take a sneak peek at some of those abilities. Druids.
Ooh. See this?
In
I'm
Season of
excited.
Discovery, you have an interrupt called Skull Bash, which can be used in cat or
Okay.
bear form. Fury of Storm Rage removes the mana cost of Wrath. Dealing damage with Wrath has a chance to make your next healing touch instant. Wild Growth applies a heal over time effect to your target and up to 5 nearby party members.
Okay. So it's giving you a couple of retail abilities.
Beast Mastery will increase your pet's damage, health, and focus regen. Growl
Hey,
is now a
yo.
proper taunt.
Hey, yo.
Explosive Shot is a ranged damage over time ability.
Hey, yo.
Hey, there you go.
Huge
Hey, you
damage
get your
boost if you have
explosive
no
shot.
active pet. Pair this with dual wielding, and you've got yourself a mean melee hunter.
That's crazy.
Mages. Ice Lance is an instant frost spell that deals
Ice
triple
Lance,
damage
hell
to
yeah.
frozen targets. Living Flame causes flames to erupt and chase a nearby enemy, leaving a burning trail in its wake.
That's cool.
And
That looks new.
Regeneration is
That
a
looks
heal,
brand new.
which marks your target with a
A,
temporal beacon.
a mage
Another
heal?
rune ability called Rewind Time will heal the damage taken over the previous 5
Heals
seconds.
the target
You
for.
can
They
heal other
mentioned
people
mage
with
healing.
this, by the way, not just yourself. So I hope you've made
Oh,
room in the
God.
roster for mage healers.
That's broken already.
Paladins.
Oh,
Yes.
here you go.
WoW Classic, they don't
Here you go,
have a
Frosty
taunt,
Paladin.
but here it is.
Oh, you get a taunt.
Hey, the
Prop
reckoning
Pally
dog.
tank arc. Let's go. Prop Pally's a
Pally's
tank
tank,
again.
baby.
Paladin can actually play Paladin.
Knowing this ability will also increase the threat bonus of Righteous
Oh, look at the
Fury
extras.
and
It
cause
gives
you
you
to
more
gain
mana.
when healed by other
Hey,
players.
yo, bro.
Oh, dude, I
Spear
think
Strike is a weapon
Pally's
attack.
new meta tank with this.
Crusader Strike.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yo. And it regens mana?
Instead regenerates
Holy
your mana
crap.
slightly with each hit. And Seal of Martyrdom can be activated
What?
to cause
Ooh.
melee attacks to strike
Seal of
other
Martyrdom.
nearby
30%?
That's a new
targets.
one.
You lose health when inflicting damage with this.
And you
However,
give
nearby
mana to your
members will
party?
gain mana based on the damage you take.
What?
Let me look at warriors. Let me look at warriors.
Yo,
You can channel
Paladin's
penance,
actually
heal-
good for
heal
once?
nearby friendly targets or deal damage
Let's
to enemy
go.
targets.
Huh?
Prayer of Mending heals your target the next time they take damage or receive healing. Afterwards, it'll bounce
Oh, is
to
this from
another friendly
Priest?
player nearby.
Yeah, this is priest abilities. These are. Oh, what?
Animates 3 miniature copies of your
Homunculi.
character, which will attack your target with a mace, a
Wait, can you
sword,
move the
and an
chat so I
axe,
can see the
reducing their attack
thing?
speed, attack
It's.
power, and armor respectively.
Hold on.
Rogues.
Hold on. I'll do it in a second. Rogue.
Shadow Strike allows you to teleport behind your target and strike.
Ooh.
Oh. In Classic?
Venom is a finishing move. It deals poison damage based on your deadly poison.
Okay,
doses on the target,
Sin actually
and
has
also
something
increases the
useful.
frequency
Yeah,
of
yeah,
applying
yeah.
instant
Yeah, yeah,
poison
yeah.
For some time afterwards.
They're saving the best for last. Come on, baby, give the best thing to war.
I love
A
that
rogue
name.
tank
You
ability?
take reduced physical damage while Blade Dance is active. You're less likely to be critically hit by melee attacks, and your feint ability turns into a taunt called Tease. Shamans.
Shaman, your lava lash?
I'm about to be broken as fuck.
Dude, shamans are actually gonna be busted.
Can dual wield with the help of another rune not pictured here. Happy hunting. Healing Rain is a gradual.
Did somebody just say hell yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that means that their dual wielding is gonna be a thing here.
Way of Earth allows you to perform the coveted role of Shaman.
No way.
Shaman tanks, bro.
No way.
So every class is getting a tank.
You'll take less damage, and Earth Shock becomes
You all are tanks now.
Everyone's a tank.
Everyone's a tank, and then
Warlock
Mage became a healer.
Uh-oh, this is scary.
deals damage, increases all shadow damage you deal to the
Haunt.
target.
Oh, that's not
and
too bad.
heals
As
you
long as
for
they
the
give
damage
haunt,
it
yeah.
dealt once it's dispelled or
By
combined.
20%?
20.
Increases.
Sends a big
Chaos
fire
Bolt.
Chaos Bolt.
Oh, there
Chaos
you go.
Bolt's in classic.
causes fire spells to pierce through absorption
Oh
effects.
wow. Haunt would be your opener, right?
No
Yeah!
way. No way. They're getting
Warlock
meta
tank.
back.
Warlock tank.
Allowing you to transform into a demon, similar to a druid's bear form, increasing your armor and reducing your chance to be
Tank for every class.
Bro, do you
Oh
remember
my
how
God.
broken meta was for Warlocks?
recklessness is your taunt.
It's back, baby.
Warriors.
Here
Here's
you go,
Warriors.
Silvash Warriors.
Oh,
Victory
come on,
Rush
baby.
is a weapon attack that can be
Yeah,
used every
Victory
Huge.
Rush.
It will
Huge.
absorb a certain percentage of your
Huge.
health. Devastate will cause your Sunder armor to deal main hand weapon
Oh wait, no,
damage,
that sucks. Look
increase
at
for
only
each
usable
stack of
within
Sunder
20
armor
seconds after you
already
kill
on
an
the
enemy
target.
that yields experience or honor.
And Raging
It's
Blow
fine.
is a vicious strike that deals
Same
heavy
way it is in
damage,
retail.
but can only be used while enraged. Now this is just a taste of all the abilities coming to classes in Season of Discovery. And really, bottom line, we want
Man, we suck, dude. They just gave the worst ones to
feel
us.
OP.
What do you mean the worst ones for you?
Bro, how many mobs are in a single pack that you pull in a dungeon, sir?
Anyways,
Wait a
Maybe
minute.
like 2 or 3.
Devastate is like bread and butter tank warrior bullshit. Secondly, Victory Rush has been around forever, and they didn't change shit. It's good.
They should have gave us impending victory.
as a hotly
No.
contested territory between the Horde and the Alliance. In Season of Discovery, earning kills while in Ashenvale will trigger a zone-wide PvP event.
Ooh.
During this event, a leader will appear in the zone for each faction, a Farseer for the Horde, and a Priestess of the Moon for the Alliance.
Hey,
Your
yo.
objective is simple. It's to defeat the enemy leader. Now this is easier said than done. These leaders are tough, so you'll have to work together
Like
to take them
Ashram?
out. In addition to the main camps where those factions
Exactly like
reside,
Ashran.
various other camps will spawn across the zone for each faction. The Priestess of the Moon and the Farseer are each buffed by respective leaders in those smaller camps. The more of those small camps you can take out, the weaker your enemy's
It's
faction
Alterac
leader will
Valley
be.
all over again.
Sounds
But in
Oh,
Ashen
good
Valley.
God.
much like Alterac
Yeah.
Valley. This event is an
Called it.
awesome way to earn
Oh,
honor,
God.
as well as reputation with Warsong Gulch factions, which allows you to unlock some of the best level 25 gear in the game. You'll also be able to earn a mount, which you can actually use at level 25, but only in Ashenvale.
Oh.
Increase your speed by 50%.
Yeah, to
giving
sweeten
you
the deal.
extra boost you need to seek and destroy the enemy. So, come kick some ash in Ashenvale. I'll see you there.
Oh my god.
That was cheesy.
She said
Yeah.
kick some ash in Ashenvale?
Yep.
Yep.
She didn't even say ass.
No, that was on purpose.
Anyways, I've done enough talking. It's time for me to pass things off to Tim, who's going to talk to you about raids and the PvE endgame. Take it away,
Here we
Tim.
go.
This is per cata, right? Just making sure.
No. This is classic.
Thank you, Nora.
Like our classic?
Hey,
Yeah.
Blizzcon.
Classic,
Normal classic.
Normal classic, not the hardcore.
I'm definitely playing Season of Discovery, though.
Yeah, for real. Me too.
On World of Warcraft Classic.
I have to re-roll because the that's the.
I'm going Paladin tank, guys.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm going for a paladin too.
Whether we're questing
I'm
together,
going Warlock tank.
Bro, I can't believe that Paladin's gonna be good for once.
Not
That's
for real.
insane.
where to find find that new metamorphosis rune for Warlock.
Miracles do happen, bro.
Mages can heal for once. No more bandit spec.
Discovery aims to deliver on providing new group content that's both
Dreams do come true. Paladin is playable. Oh my god.
everyone to take a moment with me.
Rogue tank is shaman tank.
Warlock tank.
Lies the ruins of an ancient elven temple to the goddess.
Rogue tank.
Yeah.
Stirs within, drawing the likes of the Naga and the Twilight's hammer in search of power and anything that could hasten the coming of the old gods. You know, maybe you've been here before, maybe not. No matter your familiarity with this place, it's hard not to be drawn in by the mystique, the rich art, the level design, as well as the robust creature and spell ecology of Black Fathom Deeps. You know, on the Classic team, we couldn't help but ask ourselves, could this amazing location be more than just a 5-player dungeon? So we're excited. Get your level 25 prebis, equip your runes, find 9 of your best friends, and get ready. The Classic team is proud to announce Level Up Raids. New instance challenges for raid groups to experience the max level for each of Season of Discovery's content bands. Woo! You know, at level 25, Black Fathom Deeps is the first level up raid that you'll experience in Season of Discovery. You know, groups should be easy to form. Grab a couple tanks and healers, make a party of 10, you're good to go. God knows, everyone and their mom can tank and heal in Season of Discovery now, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yep.
You sure can.
Discovery won't be as long as traditional Classic expansion patches either. And we want you to have as many opportunities to explore and plunder the riches within.
3-day
As
lockout.
such, Black Fathom will offer a 3-day lockout, much like
Yep.
the raid Zul'Gurub. You know, the story's the same. The location and creatures may be familiar to some, but the challenges and rewards are brand new. 7 new bosses are here to both entertain and test your skills. And how could we not make raid content without new loot? Existing quests and rewards have also been updated for the raid as well.
Show us.
And you'll even be able to
Cool.
find secrets within the raid. Can you solve the mystery of the Twilight Artisan? Can you find the recipes for Black Fathom sharpening stones and wizard oil? And will you be the first group to access the new world buff, Boon of Black Fathom? Ooh.
So professions are going to be important.
I love your guys' enthusiasm. This is amazing. Let's peek behind the curtain at what challenges await players in Black Fathom, you know, or as we affectionately call it, BFD, not to be confused with BRD or BFA or BWL or BWD. You guys get the idea. Baron Aquinas, he guards the entrance. No longer a simple quest NPC.
Oh
You must
shit.
challenge
Who
his
breaded
elemental
me?
lieutenants
Somebody
that
bread.
inhabit the
Somebody hit
Fathom
me with more
Stones
bread.
and defeat him.
I don't like the way I said that the first
You may
time.
face off against Aquinas himself atop the
It's
infamous
Savash.
jumping puzzle.
No,
What?
it's not.
Yes, it is.
You know,
No,
and
it's
jump
not.
you must
I know your
to get in
username
range
on
of the
Twitch,
Baron,
sir.
but beware both the boss and your teammates because there
You
are
didn't
many
hydrate
that
either,
can
so
knock
now
you off.
I threw bread at you.
I
In all
didn't see the
honesty, this
hydrate
boss
redeem, my
is
bad.
lightly tuned, and there are some hidden power-ups below the water to help you return to the platform.
I don't have my like chat on my screen
Next
because
up,
I
you
have
must face against Gamura,
the thing. No, I
fearsome
don't.
turtle that's
It's
been
full
swimming in the
screened. The
enchanted
video is
waters
full
of the
screened.
deeps for a long, long time. You know,
I don't know
exposure
about
to
you, but I
these
see the
energies
chat.
has granted her
That's
both
the
power and
stream.
size,
It's not
but most
my
importantly,
screen. My
she's now
screen is
protected by
full
a
screen
magical
video.
barrier that protects her against almost
You been on
any
Discord?
attack. Break
No,
through this barrier and start
my
blasting
entire
for
screen
massive
is the
damage.
video full
Get your
screen.
orange parse.
The chat and the duck and all that is just an overlay for the
You know,
stream.
all
I
this
don't see that.
commotion will bring you to the attention
Oh.
of Lady Saraves.
Well, we can see the chat.
Powerful and reckless Naga
Yes.
sorceress and a legion of Black Fathom Legion.
I'm touching
Legion.
myself tonight.
She is a formidable
Hello,
foe
Funky.
that will overwhelm you unless you find a way
Could be
to turn
unhonored.
her own spells against
No,
her
it's
and her
Funky.
minions.
Funky
Yeah.
just joined.
No, these 3 bosses round out the prologue.
And
of
I have
Black Fathom
unhonored
Deeps,
muted.
And in all 3 are available to fight in our demo in Hall D. Check it out. And that's not it. Witness the corruption of Gelihast and take on the march of the Void Murlocs.
The Void Murloc.
Jet's magical barriers and
Void
corrupted
Murloc.
totems. Conquer your dreams as you challenge Twilight Lord Kelris. And good luck against the giant Void Hydra. Seriously, you're going to need it. And not to forget, there will be glittering prizes.
Why does this
awaiting
dude
you,
laugh and
including
sound like a
some
Wow.
gay villain?
Here's the loot.
Now, telling you all
Yo,
this is
what?
great, but I think we'd rather just show you. So it is my pleasure
I love
to
the
provide
flavor
a quick
text.
sneak peek video
The
of
trinkets?
the raid, edited by
At level
the team
25?
itself. So
Yeah.
it was pulled straight from a community website in 2005. Please take a look.
They really did increase the size of that turtle.
Yeah, that's a beefy turtle.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so annoying as a raid encounter.
Oh, you have to fight him on the platform?
There's no way. Look at the size of that turtle.
Ayo, Warlock tank in action, bro.
Look at the size of him too. He's just beating him in with his staff.
I feel like they made the Hydra bigger too.
Dude, that
Yeah,
thing is
no, the Hydra's
big.
big. Yeah, the Hydra's
Yeah.
massive. I don't know what to think about that. I don't really want to. I mean, the Hydra never breathed fire
That's
before.
it for today, guys. We're looking forward to.
Placeholder slide, remove me.
That shouldn't be here. Okay, that should definitely. Okay,
Oh.
sorry, we should have. Okay.
Easter
Oh.
eggs.
Spoiler.
Sneaky, sneaky.
That wink was
That's
cringe.
it for today.
Kara?
Of the classic
Yeah,
theme,
looked like it.
As Anna mentioned at the top, nothing that we do in WoW Classic would be possible without all of your support.
A deep wind pass actually being used in
Thank you
Classic
so
for
much
something?
making the dream of WoW Classic and all the
Imagine.
experiences we're working on a reality.
Was there any hardcore updates?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
there's-
adding a new hardcore
Can't wait
mode
to see what else
where
we have
it's
in store
solo
for the
play,
future.
so
We
you're
can't wait
not
for you to
allowed
see.
to interact with
So please stay
the
tuned
mailbox,
for
trade
Hearthstone, What's
windows,
Next
or
coming up right
auction
after
house,
this.
all the way
And
up
we
until
hope you
level
have
60.
enjoyed this look ahead at what's next for WoW Classic. I wanna
That's a
reiterate,
different kind of
this is
level of
just a
hardcore right
taste of
there.
all that you're going to
Mhm.
uncover in Season of Discovery. And for those of you here at Blizzcon, we hope you get to take on the first 3 bosses
You have to
of our
make it
Black
to
Fathom
60 on
Deeps
your
raid
own.
on the
No
show
outside
floor.
help.
And for everyone else, we're so excited for you to experience it when Season of
Can't even
Discovery
do dungeons?
launches worldwide in just a few
I
short
think you
weeks
can't join a group.
on November 30th. Thank you, everyone.
That's brutal. Look at all them neck.
Dude, that whole place was packed for that one too. Look.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to intermission again for 20 minutes, looks like. So I'm going to step away and eat dinner. I'll be right back.
They
Looks
didn't-
like the next section is going to be about Warcraft Rumble.
Good afternoon, BlizzCon! So good to be back. Whether you are here in the arena with me right in front of me, whether you're watching from elsewhere in the halls, whether you're joining us from the comfort of your home, thank you for taking the time to join me for this deeper, closer look at what's coming next in the War Within. I love you too! I love you, BlizzCon.
Okay,
So Morgan and Maria gave you kind of a sneak peek at some of what's coming. Today I want to spend a bit more time giving you more information on the core features of War Within, as well as a few things that didn't get mentioned at all yesterday. So, beginning
just a little teaser there. So to begin, let's talk delves. So what is a delve? As you heard yesterday, delves are these quick, bite-sized, epic adventures for flexible-sized groups, either solo or with up to 5 players. They are role agnostic, so it doesn't matter if you're a couple DPS, if you're a healer and a tank, if you're a solo healer. We're going to make it work. We're going to meet you where you are, how you want to play. Delves are a new endgame pillar. This is a permanent addition to World of Warcraft going forward and represents kind of a capstone to the outdoor world experience. We've had dungeons, we've had raids, we've had organized PvP, and I think we've had some stuff for outdoor world players to dabble in. But if you wanted progression, if you wanted goals, if you wanted a deeper, more structured experience, frankly, we were letting you down. We want to change that. That's what delves represent in World of Warcraft. So structuring this, really we want to approach it as something that you are going to be engaging in all season long with variety and flexibility in how you approach it, and the replayability of the content is kind of a mainstay of what it's all about. But also want to build in progression. And I think if you're an outdoor world focused player, a lot of the time it's just about kind of spending your time doing a thing, going to a place, completing an event, but there aren't necessarily goals to work towards. There aren't necessarily reasons to be excited about getting an item upgrade because it's going to let you do something you haven't been able to do before. A difficulty progression built into delves is going to enable us to offer that. Now, there's a lot of lessons we've learned over the years from building this type of content, whether it was Torghast in Shadowlands, Island Expeditions, scenarios, you can throw in Horrific Visions in that list. We've learned a lot about how to tune these sorts of experiences, how to design them for flexible scaling groups of different sizes, of different role compositions, about what's fun and what isn't. But we've also learned, based on your feedback, about what not to do in some cases, in terms of how we structure it, how we present it. I think a key aspect of saying this is an endgame pillar is that it's an offering in parallel to the others, to dungeons, to raids. If you want to do this, if this is your jam, if this is your type of gameplay, we're there for you, and we want this to be as deep as you want it to be. If you're happy running Mythic Plus and you just want to focus on that, we're not looking to add another item to the checklist of things you feel you have to do to compete. It's an alternative. Unlike Torghast, which is something that we did kind of say, everyone has to do this, whether you like it or not, whether you'd rather do something else or not. That gets back to some of the philosophies that Morgan touched on yesterday and how we're approaching designing and evolving World of Warcraft. We want to meet you where you are. We want to respect your time. We want to offer you the ability to choose how you want to spend that time each day, each night in Azeroth. So in terms of the character of delves and what a specific one will be like, the vibe here is about unraveling mysteries, it's about exploring, it's about feeling like an extension, a seamless extension of the outdoor world experience. These are not dungeons. Every dungeon is ultimately about killing a series of bosses or boss-like encounters, and the dungeon is over when you kill the final baddest boss at the end of the dungeon. And that's kind of the structure that they all have to conform to. As much as we try to vary the formula a bit, that's pretty much what they're going to be. In the outdoor world, things are a bit different. We can, break some more of the rules. And really, at the end of the day, the one consistent thing about delves is that they're all going to end with a room full of treasure. Some of those will have a final boss guardian in front of them. Others, you may be, just exploring, traversing the delve, flipping switches, solving a puzzle, defeating lieutenants, gathering things that you need to open the vault door. We can vary the gameplay, we can vary the feel of the experience. These are going to be instanced experiences, but they are seamless. When you walk up to, this, as I'll show in a second, a fog door at the entrance to a cave, at the entrance to a structure, you're just going to walk in, no loading screen, and now you're in a delve. We want to make sure this really feels like part of and an extension of the outdoor world.
That's cool. So there is separation, but not
as
by
part of
much.
an in-game pillar, that means
They
we want to
stole
tie this
delves
into,
from Elder Scrolls Online,
seasons.
bro.
So, as well as a narrative
Blizzard does
progression
best.
over the course of a given season,
Literally Sherrod
there
name
will
and
be
everything. They're literally
increasing
called
rewards,
delves.
increasing difficulty, and a
So,
change of pace, whether you're in season
didn't
1
even
or
try to
within
hide it
season
this time.
2, and so forth.
Part of that is going to be the NPC
Oh, it's Ian
companions that will be
Hazacostas.
accompanying you on your
Boo.
adventures. The Season 1 companion, as we mentioned yesterday, is our good friend, Bran Bronzebeard. Now, what does this mean? What does a companion mean in practice? Well, it's a few things. One, it's definitely a narrative hook. It gives us a chance to help give context for your adventures, kind of narrate what you're going through. But also, it's a chance to kind of play with the mechanics and complement your playstyle. As Bran adventures with you, you might find some gear for Bran. You might be able to gear Bran up. You'll be able to spec him and customize his abilities to complement what you or your friends are bringing to the group, whether you want more survivability, whether you want help with someone to tank, whether you want more control. This can help us balance the experience as well and give you another vector for your progression over the course of the journey. Now, I know this has kind of been very high level. I want to just give a couple of specific examples, just kind of a day in the life of someone jumping into delves in War Within. So let's say you are casually journeying across the Isle of Dorne and its pastoral beauty, and you come across this structure with that fog door set into it, and you decide to venture in. So as you venture in, you are, as I mentioned, seamlessly in the delve, and you will find, just huddled inside the entrance, a group of expedition scouts who have come to this place. They've heard reports of great secrets, great treasures, powerful relics stored within, but they've been unable to proceed further. Because, they tell you, and Bran is among them, mind you, they tell you, this place, there's an unnatural, there's a disturbing darkness that has settled over this entire vault, and we can't proceed. Fortunately, they have in their possession a relic that they have brought that is an enchanted candle that can light the way. It has a little light radius around it. If you think back to the Vault of the Warden's dungeon, if you remember that in Legion, what the basement was like, where it really felt like just like a dark, scary place, but you could have this beacon in the darkness to guide your way, you have one of those. But, they tell you, it has very limited fuel. They dare not proceed on their own because they worry they're just going to get trapped in the darkness and destroyed by the terrors within. But you, of course, being the champion who's come along, you're up to the task. So you take that candle with its light radius that will begin to shrink progressively as your limited fuel burns, and you take some steps into the delve. Now, who do you find in here? Well, as it happens, you run across fellows like this guy. More jacked than your average kobold, but there's a lot of kobolds in here. And as you know, as any World of Warcraft player knows,
behind
where
this
you
and
find
make us do
kobolds,
them
you're going to find
every
candles.
day.
And this guy's going to put up a fight, but it being World of Warcraft and all, you're going to take his candle. And you're going to take the candles of his allies and his brethren. And that will help fuel this magic light that you have.
This is going to be
help
optional
keep the light
content.
burning so that you can traverse the entire delve, defeat a couple of lieutenant-type enemies, bosses, solve a puzzle or two, and at the end, you make your way into the vault room that Bran is able to open once you bring him there, and you find this mock-up, work in progress of a treasure room, heaping with riches, treasure chests of various shapes and sizes. Some of the smaller ones, you can just walk up and open, collect a range of items, currency, rewards, you name it. But you'll find a couple of extra large, resplendent chests in this room. Those may require special keys to open. Now, those keys you would obtain from doing kind of outdoor content, weekly quests. They're a bit more limited in how you can get them, but also allow us to offer and pace out the best rewards that are on par with some other endgame content to make sure it's not, infinitely grindable or anything like that, but it's an extension of your outdoor world loop if this is your playstyle. Now, let's say you come back to the same delve on another day. You might find that there isn't a magical darkness settled over the place. Instead, there are earthen locked in battle with kobolds, and you can help turn the tide of that fight as you work your way through, dealing with some different challenges along the way. Variety, replayability, lots of layers to the experience. Now, so you venture back out into the zone, heading off to a different corner of it, and you come across this cave surrounded by mushrooms. It's known in legends as fungal folly. Now, maybe not being the wisest adventurer, that sounds like a great place to enter, so you take a few steps forward. In here, you might find an environment where, whether it's due to unusual ores or whatever in the walls, the rules of gravity are a bit topsy-turvy. And you'll find mushrooms scattered around the cave, that you can use as basically jump pads to help navigate the environment, to skip over enemies you want to avoid, to reach high up ledges that you couldn't otherwise get to. You're starting to get the idea, like, this is more the world as toy vibe that we try to play with when we're creating outdoor events, outdoor spaces. These are not mechanics you'd necessarily find in a dungeon, but I think the team really is unshackled, is freed to explore a much wider array of gameplay when we're building delves. So let's talk a bit more about the loot. So actually, before I talk about the loot, these are the 12 delves that we currently have planned, scattered throughout the 4 zones, each themed around the ecologies, each themed around the settings that you're going to find. Now, some of the attentive among you may be saying, wait a minute, Morgan's slide said there were 13 delves yesterday. He might be right, but there also might be a secret delve that you have to explore a bit more to discover.
Ew, no more weapons in tier set from Vault.
So yeah, loot. Part of being a seasonal pillar means going to the Great Vault every week and getting to share in that disappointment that you're raiding and dungeon playing.
It's actually a really good
I'm like
chain,
a
though.
minute
I've also
behind.
had the pleasure to enjoy.
I'm like a minute behind on stream.
Just want to make sure you don't feel left out. So you're welcome. So you'll note this isn't a delves row. This is a world row, and really that is enshrining these 3 PvE pillars: raids, dungeons, world. You'll be able to unlock some of these slots doing select outdoor world activities, as well as, of course, delves with better rewards from higher difficulty delves. Our thinking in terms of the rewards here, this is all subject to tuning, is that this should reach to, let's say, end boss heroic raid, mythic 10 to 15 type range, accessible just via solo progression. Far better loot than you've ever been able to get before. And now, I'm sure this is, I know this is the delve section, but I'm sure there's folks looking at this and being like, wait a minute, what about the PvP row?
Yep.
Don't worry, we got you.
That was my first thought.
We are removing the PvP row from the vault. We're doing that based largely on feedback that we've heard that randomness and PvP gearing maybe are not the best combination. I know it took a few years to get that message through to us. So the way this is going to work is instead, you're going to get a whole lot more conquest. You're going to gear up at the same rate overall, but you will have complete control over your gearing path.
Extra conquest?
Just spending your conquest on the items that you want.
I'll
With
take
easier
that.
catch-up if you come in late in the season, you don't have to worry about having missed certain vault weeks. Also, if you're someone who PvPs a lot and you raid, you don't have the awkward choice of that raid trinket versus the PvP item that's going to help your arena partners. So
my question there is, how do we get gem slots then? If we can't use the vault to get our gems?
Hopefully,
they might not have gem
good news for
slots
everyone.
next expansion. This is the first time they've
Now,
kind
aside
of
from,
done that in
just
Shadowlands
power,
and Dragonflight.
Also, you get silly hats.
Or it'll just
Nothing
be
more
like a
to say here.
purchasable thing for like
It's just-
150 conquest or whatever.
Maybe.
That might be good.
I like those helmets.
These are just a
The
few
mushroom tip,
examples
bro.
of the array of cosmetic rewards
Imagine
that
that
will
on
be
a gnome.
exclusive to delves,
Bro,
reflecting
the
the varied
kobold
ecologies
one.
and environments you're going to be facing.
I'm literally gonna rename
So,
my warrior to Mushroom
hats,
Man
World
and
of
just
Warcraft.
wear that hat and be a gnome.
Less silly, just as, let's say, Mythic Plus players
what?
have a mount that they can earn over the course of a given season, this customizable flying mount will be exclusively available through thorough completion of the delve experience. You'll note the customizability of it.
Yo,
This will be customizable
that's
the same way you
cool.
can customize your current dragon riding drakes at the rostrum. Just modularly.
That's dope. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love our artists. Okay, up next. Warbands.
This is important. Warbands. This is important.
I feel like I could probably just save 10 minutes of this panel by just saying account wide everything and like just click through the next slides. But kind of that. So I don't know if you guys know this, but turns out y'all play a lot of alts. I'm sure that actually the number of characters per person in this room in particular is like some insane average. But the average WoW player today plays multiple characters. The two-thirds of players who have a level 70 have multiple level 70s. Half of players have 3 or more. Most people are playing multiple characters a week. And that's not something the game, it's no secret, has always done the best job of supporting. Now, part of that is because World of Warcraft 20 years ago was built with very different assumptions. And I both mean design-wise, but actually engineering-wise as well, the infrastructure and the architecture that was built. Back then, it took hundreds of hours to level a single character, of course, and playing alt seriously was far, far from the norm. But we've kind of inherited, we're still working with, we have been working with those foundations to this day. And so when we get requests for them, when we talk about alt friendliness, we try to do it, but we're often working against, we're swimming upstream, given the underpinnings of a system that were never designed for this. And that's why you get some, frankly, pretty clunky solutions, like, well, if you want to transfer this currency to your alt, go to a vendor and spend some to buy a different box that contains account-bound currency that you can then mail to yourself, log out, log back in, take the box out of your mailbox, and open it on your alt. Congratulations, you have moved 300 supplies. Elegant design, ladies and gentlemen. What if we didn't have to do that? So at its core, warbands is, what if we just rebuilt those foundations and created a new future, both for the things we want to offer today and the things we'll be able to in the future, so we're not fighting against the nature of the system, but instead it complements what we want to do. Now, the focus here is really making it convenient, removing barriers, removing awkwardness in playing alts. We don't want to actively necessarily encourage it. People already want to do it if they do it. One thing the system is not going to be is something that awards you power or makes your main more effective because you have done things on other characters or anything along those lines. If you want to play alts, do so. If you just love focusing on a single character, that shouldn't feel wrong either. Now let's talk about some examples. Okay, so I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. They're mostly fairly straightforward. It's a bank. It's an account-wide bank. Thankfully, hopefully, you should never again have to mail something to yourself. You also might notice, and so this is giant, lots of storage, extra tabs that can be purchased on the right-hand side, so multiple tabs.
You can deposit gold.
You can organize them as you want.
You can share
The
gold
very
between
observant,
tunes.
the eagle-eyed will notice a little checkbox mentioning reagents. If you deposit reagents here, you can craft from the account-wide storage on any of your characters.
That's cool. That's pretty rad.
Next up, maybe a little new thing. Something that you might put in this account-wide storage are the ability we will now have to create war-bound items that are war-bound until equipped. You might get an item that you can't sell in the auction house or trade, but that you can give to any of your other characters for their use.
Okay.
Now, these items would drop as bonus personal loot from doing a variety of content. They would drop at a slightly lower item level than what that content would normally give you. Again, we want to make sure the right way to play is not playing on multiple characters to funnel loot to your main, to gear up your main faster, but just easy potential hand-me-downs, ways of getting an alt caught up, maybe even an excuse to level an alt if you get a really cool item for a class that you haven't had a chance to get up yet. So just an extra layer here, hopefully making it easier than ever to progress, to accomplish your goals on multiple characters. All right, now quick rundown of some of the other integrations we have planned. Transmog. Transmog has always been, it's been for a long time an account-wide collection. Key thing here now that really it is being acquired by your warband, that means that now if you were running, let's say, Ulduar on your mage and a pair of plate shoulders drop, you can still add those plate shoulders to your warband collection.
That's good.
Yeah, self-explanatory. And then, if you log on your warrior later, your warrior can equip them, you're good to go. Hopefully you don't need to feel like you need to refarm the same stuff on as many different armor types anymore.
That's good.
Reputations,
I've definitely had
again,
that happen before.
fairly straightforward. In War Within, reputations and renowns will work account-wide. We want to make this as retroactive as possible. That will take some work over time. We're probably going to start with Dragonflight renowns as a focus and a priority and work our way backwards. But going forward, we want progress earned on reputations to not really matter which character you're doing it on. At the end of the day, it's the same content, it's the same experience. If you've gained access to some perk or some recipe, having to re-earn it, not terribly compelling. Here's a really light example, a simple one, just flight paths. As you explore the world, you learn flight paths, you discover flight paths. Is it terribly compelling to have to go back to a spot that you've already been to in multiple characters just to learn a flight path for the 4th time? No. If you have a flight path network unlocked, you have that unlocked across your warband going forward.
That's cool.
And here's an example of something new, just delves. An example of how having this as a foundation means that we can build new systems to inherently work at an account-wide level, just kind of as part of their DNA. As you are advancing Bran as a companion, as you are empowering him, as you're customizing him, again, logging on to a different character and going back to having a weaker Bran that doesn't offer the tools that you've grown accustomed to, that's more frustrating than fun to re-earn those things. Let's make that progression inherently warband level, inherently account-wide. And achievements. We've had account-wide achievements for a long time. No secret, they have the little blue bar over them, indicating that they function at an account-wide level. What Warbands allows us to do is kind of invert that paradigm and change the vast majority of our achievements to be account-wide, to have that actually be the new default. So if you do part of this PvP or crafting or other achievement on one character, part of it on another, your Warband can earn the achievement. Once your Warband earns it, you've earned it. Again, you, the player, are doing the thing.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, and then this.
This is the new loading
To kind
screen?
of signal this shift up
The new
front. There's no
enter screen?
mechanical
Yo.
functionality here, but just in terms of presentation, what you'll see when you log into World of Warcraft with multiple characters is a selection of your favorite characters huddled around a campfire or another setting. You'll still have your full list accessible, but we want to make it clear that you, the player, have this cast of
How
characters.
the hell
that
is
if
there
you
a
wanna
level 13
dress them all up
evoker?
in
You
consistent
start at, like,
transmogs,
55.
go wild.
Something like that.
One thing you might note here, if you're very eagle-eyed, also by the way, if you're very eagle-eyed, don't read too much into things like the evoker wearing leather. It's internal mock-ups.
That too,
We're not
yeah.
changing anything crazy there.
Is that 10.2?
Sorry. But you will note that the
Yeah.
evoker is level 13. That's going to be a thing that's possible because they'll start at level 10. But because Dragonflight is going to be the new leveling expansion, by the way, going forward. One thing you might notice is there isn't really much here about realm selection.
So if you plan on making a new
are
evoker,
realm
make
agnostic,
them now
faction
so you get the
agnostic
level
feature.
boost.
You will just see all your characters here. If they're on different servers, we'll make it clear that they're on different servers. But you shouldn't have to go to the change realm screen and swap around. They're just all here.
That's cool.
Okay. Hero talents. So, at their core, this is a chance for us, as we continue to evolve and advance our class system, to explore some deeper class fantasies, to look at iconic archetypes like the Farseer or the Dark Ranger or the Mountain King, or others often inspired by major heroes in the Warcraft universe, other times by fantasies that we've heard are really resonant with players, and focus the continued expansion of our classes in that space. Now,
If there's not a
Morgan said this
necromancer
yesterday,
branch
just
for
to
Death
restate,
Knight, I'll be
this is
disappointed.
a completely flexible system. It's as flexible as your current talents and specs. Nothing like covenants or anything like that. Anytime you could change your talents today, you can change your hero spec, you can swap around your hero talents. They're just talents.
That's cool.
Now, some of our goals here, of course, we want to offer progression, but we want to do so, frankly, while managing complexity to a certain extent. When we started planning for War Within, we knew, all right, we're going to raise the level cap by 10. 10 new levels means 10 new talent points. The kind of default option for us would have been to take the existing class and spec trees and just add a couple more rows to each of them, add new points to spend. But we've been down that path before. We know exactly where that leads 15 years ago. There's a tremendous amount, there's an insane amount of multiplicative combinatorial complexity from adding those additional options. And it also destroys some carefully constructed choices that are really successful that we've just built up in Dragonflight today, where you can't quite have all of these things and need to pick one or the other. Suddenly, when you can get all of them, it can lead towards homogeneity as well. So this approach allows us to both explore deeper class fantasy while focusing the decision space in a way that offers power without that excessive complexity. So the way it's generally going to look is a third talent tree. again, as mentioned yesterday, at the center of your screen, you have class, you have talent, and in the middle, you have hero talents. You'll note, so there are 10 nodes. There's an initial node that you get as a starter node at the top that you'll get initially when you unlock the system at 71, and then 10 more nodes to unlock. You will get all of them on the way to 80. At level 80, you will have this fully unlocked, similar to Legion artifacts, let's say. So you don't have to agonize over where you're placing any choice along the way. Now, the choices that you will make are which hero spec do you want active, and also there will be choice nodes within the trees, just as the class trees and the talent and the spec trees currently have, which you can toggle, adding quite a few permutations to the system as a whole. If you want, as a kind of simpler collapsed view, once you've hit max level, you can just condense it down to only show the choice nodes for easy swapping back and forth to customize your spec for whatever activity you're setting out to do. Now, I want to take a little bit of time to quickly walk through a couple of trees to give a sense of the sorts of things you might find in here. And all of this is subject to change, all subject to iteration, and the extensive feedback we know we're going to get. I'm going to use druids a lot as an example here. I'm going to focus on the case of a balanced druid. Part of why the team starts with druids is because y'all are complicated. We figure there's 4 specs, 3 roles. We figure let's try some of the hardest cases first when proving out a design. It's nothing against the mages, warlocks, paladins, etc., but there's a reason why you probably tend to see more druid examples than other classes, because we figure if we can make it work for druids, the rest will be okay. The 2 options available to a balanced druid are this Keeper of the Grove tree and Elune's Chosen. Keeper of the Grove is available to balance and restoration. Elune's Chosen is available to balance and guardian. The former focuses on calling the forest to your aid, on summon treants, and augmenting their abilities and what using that cooldown means for your gameplay. Elune's Chosen focuses on augmenting your lunar abilities, many of the arcane damage, moon-themed abilities for both specs. So let's look at the Keeper of the Grove tree first. The first node that you're going to get as you just opt in is just kind of a baseline improvement to your throughput while treants are out across the board. This just kind of emphasizes thematically what this tree is about and makes pushing that button, having the treants out, more important to you in every regard. Some of the nodes in these trees are just going to be simple, straightforward passives. Not everything is going to double and triple down on the same treant ability. Some will, like this, regardless of what spec you are, make your treants add additional damage. Oh, by the way, if anyone's worried, wait a minute, but what about the auto taunt? That's a mess in dungeons. We'll let you opt out of that. Don't worry. Or passives could just augment your abilities, your resource pool, and just make you a better druid. An example of choice node, again, this can be about doubling down on and getting more out of having the treants active. Or maybe you really don't want all of your eggs in that basket. Even though you are going into this tree, you want the treants to be important to you. You don't want 100% of your throughput to be focused in that window. You'd rather just have some baseline improvements to all of your abilities, or to some of your core abilities. This is one of the simpler choices available, but the idea is 4 different opportunities to nudge your gameplay in one direction or another within this tree. A capstone talent, again, is often likely to double down on and amplify what the initial point was, just reinforcing that having the treants out is going to be a peak, a spike in your potential, something that you're going to plan around, and just amplify the overall benefits that you're achieving from that. Now, pivoting to Elune's Chosen, again, this is lunar themed and shared with Guardian Druids. So the first point here is going to call out 3 specific signature abilities, 2 balance, 1 guardian, and make them meaningfully more impactful to your gameplay. If you're a Guardian Druid, for example, you might read this and realize that, like Lunar Beam is going to become a pretty powerful defensive cooldown, especially in dungeons. You have a big pull going on. You're leeching a lot of damage back from what you're doing. This is now something that you can really count on and plan around as you approach your gameplay. On the Moonkid side, this, of course, adds an extra layer to planning and throughput in your rotation. Noting a couple of these things that we're modifying may be deeper optional talents in your existing spec trees. We also, where we can, want to offer ways to make sure that you can trigger those effects even if you don't have the baseline talent, though you'll probably want to as well. So this talent just has Fury of Elune triggered as you're doing your regular rotation when you Moonfire, both just naturally, it's a powerful effect that's going to fire more frequently, but also to the extent that the rest of the Elun's chosen tree is tying into it, you'll get those benefits as well. A couple of more passive examples here. Again, just doubling down on magnifying your arcane lunar throughput.
So this is probably what you would go for with the Arcano Bear spec,
that is
for sure.
further reinforcing these core have already been augmented. Leave this slide up for a while. These are our current plans for
Rider
all
of the
39
Apocalypse,
of the
San
hero
Lan,
specs, so one
Deathbringer.
per current
Yes,
specialization.
bro.
Some cool fantasies here to explore. Definitely really curious to hear community feedback on all of these, which are exciting, which are most resonant, which sound, frankly, maybe a bit lame. Are there any that you hoped you'd see on here that you're not seeing on here? We are, well underway building these out, but it's definitely early enough for us to pivot on a lot of these if there's something the community is really excited about. I want to triple super underscore, the example talents I just gave are work in progress, very subject to change. Probably no part of the game is more prone to iteration, and for no part of the game is the community input more essential than class design, spec design. To that end, when we move into our alpha, probably in the spring, we want to have as many, if not all of these hero specs playable from the start.
Pack leader,
so that we
Dark
have
Ranger,
the entire alpha and beta
Sentinel.
window
Yo.
to iterate on them, to replace the things that aren't working, to dial them all in to where everyone's going to be excited about what they're getting in War Within. It's a
You're
long
the
road ahead.
Warlock
Can't wait
Hellcaller.
to share that
Yo,
journey with
that's
you
a cool
and
title.
really just collaborate.
I want that to be a
discuss back and
title. I
forth
want my
every
Warlock
step
to
of the
be
way.
named Hellcaller. Bro. True talent. Make that a title.
Right. Now some other stuff. Some you've heard about, some you haven't. First off, Aladrace, you get to be an Earthen. Awesome blinged out dwarves, or maybe not so blinged out if you want to customize them differently. These are going to be earned just by playing through the War Within campaign fully. There's no rep to grind here, nothing else beyond that. You are meeting the Earthen as, it's a first contact in essence. You're going to learn about the nature of their problems, the nature of their culture. You're going to work with them to overcome those problems, win their trust. And at the end of that journey, it will make sense. It will be a natural next step for them to lend you their aid and join you as either Horde or Alliance. So yes, Horde dwarves.
DeWong, YouTube just a little bit ahead of you. Dude, you can do
We haven't yet finalized what the racial abilities are going to be, but the available classes, 10 out of the 13
I'll
available
catch up
classes.
when they go to ads.
Everything but Druid, Demon Hunter, and Evoker. Now on the right side here, you see a concept of the Heritage Armor you'll be able to earn from leveling your Earthen to max level.
That's some sick armor, dude.
Right, Dynamic Flight.
Okay. I don't catch it now. I'll cut up to you.
Good. Dragon riding's here to stay.
So it
I
was
like dragon riding.
obvious very
I can't
early
wait to
on
dragon ride
in
and fucking
Dragonflight,
storm
probably
it.
before Dragonflight even released in beta, that we could never go back to how it used to be. Honestly, we hope that would be the outcome. We hope the feedback would be, this is so awesome, we just want this to be how flying works forever. But we immediately began, making plans for what that would mean, because
Now you need some
it's the
quality of
only
life
way- it's the only way to
improvements
go.
to it, though. You
And
need
so
to be able to
dragon
hover.
riding is going to become the default,
be
no
able to
longer just
regen.
dragons, but dynamic flight now in War Within and beyond. We want to make sure, oh, weird. I meant to have two mounts here, but I only see Ashes on the right. But anyway, the key point being, we want to expand this to the broader array of mounts that you have available. I think the only downside of dragon riding as it exists today is that you don't have much reason to use so many of the mounts that are your favorites visually, aesthetically, that you've earned and done so much to collect. You want to make sure that as much of your collection is viable as possible. So not every single flying mount is going to be able to support dynamic flight. There's some animation logistics to work with there, but as many as we can. It's a 3-digit number. We want a very wide array of mounts being able to just fly the way you've always enjoyed with your dragons.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard to make like the gyrocopter.
Just to clarify,
do
this is the
dragon
future of
shit.
flying. So everywhere that you can fly today, you will be able to dynamically fly or dragon ride. In fact, not just in the War Within, a little sneak peek, I think in our upcoming 10.2.5 update, you'll be able to dragon ride in Eastern Kingdoms, Kalimdor, Northrend, Outland, you name it.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
We also understand there are some folks, for accessibility reasons, personal preference reasons, maybe you just like being able to
Dude, I got the
AFK
baby
in midair,
Deathwing
that dragon riding
dragon.
isn't
I'm about to
your
find one
favorite.
fucking everywhere.
We don't want to take anything away. We want to let all these mounts that can currently you do the old school flying mode toggle between dragon riding or let's call it TBC flying. Up to you, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
And again, to be clear, dynamic flight will be available from the very start when you go to Castlegar and the Isle of Dorn, just as it was in Dragonflight. Old school TBC flying, Pathfinder style, will not be available right away, but it will be unlocked shortly after reaching max level with no reputation grind requirements. Just play through the campaign, explore the continents, then you can fly that way as well. The existing dragon riding glyph system in the Dragon Isles, we want to pivot that to a bit more of something that's evergreen. Some of those unlocked traits may change to only work within the Dragon Isles. Others that are more essential to just the experience feeling good, like
the
vigor
warband system
increases,
is cool.
regenerates, the active abilities, are just going to be things that you will inherently get as you earn dynamic flight and level up naturally. We don't want down the line players to feel like they have to go back to an old expansion and fly around and collect a bunch of glyphs just to be able to explore the new expansion. And in that vein, this is going to be the new default for leveling players. I mentioned earlier, when War Within comes out, instead of BFA, Dragonflight will be the new leveling experience that you merge into as a new player after you leave Exile's Reach. And so you're going to get dragon riding very early in that experience. As you just level up, gain player levels, you will improve your flight ability and get all the vigor perks and everything else that everyone has come to expect. And that's just going to be how the game works as a baseline. This is what flight is now.
Okay.
Don't worry, PvPers, we haven't forgot you. This is
Oh my
long
God,
overdue.
finally.
We should have been doing this earlier. So there's a new battleground
Yo.
coming in War Within. It is a 10v10 map set in the Ringing Deeps. This is inspired by Silver Shard Mines with a few twists. The Ringing Deeps are a place that's full of natural resources, that's very sort of thing that the Horn Alliance would be likely to skirmish over. I'm going to show you a very rough, early, kind of like top-down mock-up of the layout here. The idea is, unlike Silver Shard Mines, which is radial symmetry, this is more mirrored and reflects the two sides trying to both push their own minecarts to collect resources while also fighting over a pivotal central control point that's going to change the outcome and the momentum of the match. This is something that the team has actually been playtesting internally a bunch over the
So
last
you would
couple
have
of weeks,
two squads,
having a blast
basically.
with. When we make
Team
battleground
fight
maps,
and then
we don't
escort.
really artify them. We keep them really rough, which is why I don't have any good images to show just
Interesting.
yet, because it really is all about the layout. There's no point making it look pretty if the spacing isn't correct, if the exact paths aren't correct. That's going to be the next step. Can't wait to get this in front of everybody to start testing in alpha and beyond. And this
I'm
isn't just a
excited for that.
one-off.
That'd be
We
cool.
want to keep adding new battleground maps going forward. This is an essential part of the game.
Thank God.
And
haven't had a new
I mentioned
battleground since
10v10,
BFA, and
but
they took
we
it
are
out of
just
the
about
rated
to undertake
rotation,
a little
so it's so
8v8
bad.
solo queue RBG experiment in 10.2 in a week or two. So depending on how that goes, you may be experiencing this one 8v8 as well. So stay tuned. Otherwise, we have a few ongoing interface updates that we're continuing to work on. In Dragonflight, we overhauled the HUD, the action bars, the unit frames, the baseline UI experience. We made it clear at the time that that was just the beginning. This is something we want to continue chipping away at, updating different pieces of the UI to be more streamlined, better reflective of the modern gameplay experience. So just a couple of examples here. So the spellbook, we are looking to modernize, update, actually make use of more than like a 1024 by 768 monitor resolution. I Ideally, you're not going to have to flip through multiple pages to find some ability that's not on your action bars. Also, we're combining this with our talent screen. If you look at the tabs at the bottom, you have spec, talents, and spells all in one place, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for all the
Okay. I can get down with that.
You're trying to swap something, and you got this big ass book in front of your screen now instead of a little one. Thank God.
Thank you. Oh, are ads on? Son of a bitch. 1 second. I'll turn ads off. I swear to God, I turned ads off.
Cross realm guilds.
And off. There we go. They should be off now. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, John. They should be off now. Wait, guilds are cross realm?
Yes, cross realm freely.
Beautiful.
So maybe it's gonna be like 6 fucking guilds on the whole fucking
Oh,
game.
dope. Mythic raids cross realm. Yeah, cross realm guilds will help a lot with the community.
Let's make that happen.
Especially with now you can trade across realm, you can do cross like faction shit.
Right, so that brings us to the end of
that's
this
gonna be
whirlwind
huge.
tour / deep dive
So
of
there's gonna be
War
like
Within
5
features.
guilds in the whole
I know there's
fucking
still
game.
a bunch of questions, a bunch more information to share. Can't wait to do that in the coming days and weeks. But to begin, I'd like to invite everybody, if you have questions, if you're here at BlizzCon, go to the Darkmoon Fair in Hall D. You can drop off questions there. If you're if you're going online, you can go to the WoW or WoW Classic subreddits or our official forums and either ask your questions there or upvote others. This coming week, when we get back to the office, we're going to huddle, review the top questions, and record streams for both Classic and for War Within, addressing the top questions to try to get as much information out there as possible. So,
I feel you, Thaddeus.
once again, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to begin this journey together with you. Can't wait for the War Within. Enjoy the rest of BlizzCon. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I love you all.
The fact that they're doing cross realm guilds and cross realm mythic raid means that you'll have more people pushing for the race to world first. They probably still won't be able to compete with like the top liners that are usually doing it, but you'll definitely have more people trying.